Hi.
Good evening.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome.
Welcome in, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I am, of course, excited to be doing this on the pen. It's an honor. And of course, thank you, Dave, for inviting the panel to your platform. It's very important to me that we are able to continue to have this conversation. So
it's my pleasure. I'm just thrilled that you want to do it, and I'm so thrilled that the community sees the value in stepping up and participating every week. I just think it's awesome, and I think it was underscored this week. I was talking to our friend Lee. If you're not following Lee Fits In, he's a great follow, especially with all the legal stuff. So in addition to all of the stuff that he's been following for us in terms of the shortage stuff and the OFA FDA trial, anyway, he's been following the TikTok stuff, and he is very much feeling like TikTok is going to go away again. So, regardless of what happens, I think it just underscores the ability to have other platforms and to be willing and flexible to meet in other places. So thanks to the community for being willing to meet somewhere else too. I'm just honored that everybody is willing to come here.
Definitely. And because I'm primarily on TikTok. And so this has been interesting dabbling in different platforms.
It's a different vibe for sure.
Yeah, but I'm excited to connect with the community on these other platforms and get an opportunity for them to check out what the panel is. I know that it's helped so many of us over on TikTok. So Friday nights are quickly becoming my favorite time of the week.
You're definitely not alone in that. Definitely not alone. So what do we got tonight?
So tonight we are just going to chat about our journeys, and we've got some great guests that we're going to talk about some of our wins and challenges and everything beyond the scale.
Wonderful. Awesome. Well, thank you again for hosting, and thank you everyone for participating. I've got if I seem distracted, it's because I am. I have my 5-year-old, fresh 5-year-old. He just turned 5 last week, and my 6-year-old with me there. Oh, okay. We don't do that. Okay. So yeah, it's Friday night is family night. So I like to join for a couple minutes when I can, but
yeah,
obviously we got other stuff going on too. So just happy to be here for a little bit.
I do appreciate that you are, I know how busy you are, and I know that I selfishly asked you to jump on, even if it is for a couple of minutes. I appreciate anything that you're that you're able to spare us.
Yeah. I just appreciate this community. I mean, this community has been. You got to chill, buddy. If you're going to be in here, you got to chill. Okay. I just appreciate the opportunity to have this OTP community. Like this past week, people raised holy heck with Amazon, and it got our book back. That was very, very meaningful for me because I know that you guys know how much that meant to me, and the community really stepped up and sent a lot of emails to Amazon. And I'm super confident that was the difference maker in them actually choosing to do something about it and getting it out of that sort of AI loop that all of my emails were going into. So super thrilled that the book's back. And I just want to say thank you to the community because I know there's a lot of people here who really helped with that. So thank you.
You have said that this community is powerful and has the capacity to get stuff done.
100%. So who do we got joining us tonight?
So you want to bring up, let's bring up the panel.
Yeah, one by one. Shabow, 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 shabow. Awesome. Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Hello.
Rise and shine.
That makes me so happy when you say that. It could be any time, any part of the day. I hear Rise and it immediately brings me joy. How's everyone doing tonight?
Good. Doing good.
Terribly cold. Oh, wow.
Yes, this weather has been insane. And so very quickly, I know we've got Dave for just minutes. Dave, could you very briefly just tell everyone what you do for this, who you are and what you do for this community?
Yeah, so if you're new here to the channel, welcome. It's good to have you here. I'm Dave Knapp. I go by Man on the Manjaro pretty much everywhere. I've got a website called onthepen.com. And it's like really, this whole thing started off with just like almost everybody else who creates content. It started about sharing my journey, and very quickly there just was a deficit of information out there about what these medications do, how they work. Just everything that was out there was for the patient perspective, was coming from the medical community, or it was coming from the investor community, and like none of it really made sense for patients. Like, what does this mean for me? And so very quickly, like within weeks, the content started to shift towards that type of information, where I would just take that information and basically what I say is just translate it into patient speak, so that people are empowered with information to have more competent, confident conversations with their doctors, to just advocate for themselves, whether that is advocating in terms of what medication you would like to explore for a treatment, whether it is accessibility issues like insurance, prior authorizations, savings cards, like the whole gamut when it comes to advocating for yourself with your doctor. And that's what On the Pen became. And so onthepen.com is really the hub where patients on anti-obesity medication, type 2 diabetes medications can go and trust that they're getting information from the patient perspective. And so that's what we've created at On the Pen. And definitely in creating all that, I have struggled personally as what they would call a slow responder. Come to find out, the more I've looked at the data, I'm a pretty average responder for a diabetic. But definitely when you're leading a community of many people who are not diabetic, and even many diabetics who respond very well to these treatments, it can be kind of a dejecting feeling. And so I sort of felt like one of the things that On the Pen was lacking in was just the community building. And I just thought what Sabrina was doing, and Jay and Corey, I mean, there's several faces that popped up very often on these panels. I thought what you were doing was very special and unique. There are other live streams, but there was something special about the ones that you were doing. There was a I can't speak tonight, an authenticity about it, a raw realness to it that I just didn't get anywhere else. And I just thought it was super special. And so when TikTok was looking at going away, I was like, Sabrina, like when we go live to Facebook, and we go live to Twitter, and like we're outside of this TikTok bubble.
Mm-hmm.
And just with the future of TikTok being like uncertain, I was like, what do you think about doing this over at On the Pen? And so again, that's why all the back and forth at the beginning, I'm just humbled and honored that you all are willing to come here to a new platform and do this, because again, we're reaching outside of that TikTok bubble. And I think that's like, I love TikTok. But when you're just kind of locked into one platform, then you're also kind of captive to that platform as well. And whether they decide to push your content out, whether they decide to take it away, whatever it may be. So I'm just honored that you're all willing to come here and share your stories on the OTP platform with all of our community. So thank you to everyone who's joined tonight. And thank you, Sabrina, for putting it on.
Absolutely. Anyone who knows me knows how much this means to me, and what this community and healing means to me. So I appreciate having this space.
My pleasure.
Okay, so does anyone have anything before we do our church announcements? So basically the church announcements are, I'm just going to ask that we all are respectful to each other, allow everyone to finish their thoughts before jumping in. I feel very strongly that this needs to be a safe space for the entire community. Just be mindful of your language and the topics that are typically flagged. If you haven't purchased Dave's book, please do so. It is back on Amazon, and I know for me, it's made an impact, and I think it can for you as well. And it's on sale right now. So what are y'all doing? Go get your book. Also, if you are interested in being a guest on the panel, please check out onthepen.com/Sabrina. And now there's a form there where you can fill out your information. if you've already done so, it didn't capture your email, so I have no way of getting a hold of you. So find me and send me a message and let me know that you filled out. I'm not ignoring you. I just can't reach you. So send me a message and I will get you scheduled. We will get you scheduled. You don't have to fill out the whole form again. Just send me a message on wherever. I'm on, I'm Brina_727 on all platforms. And then with that, I don't have anything else, and I would like to do the panel introductions. So I'm going to start with, well, first I have to preface this with, I am so excited to introduce and have Jay on this panel tonight. He has been my partner in crime since day one. He has been with me since day one on almost every single panel. He is the brightest light in our community and has made a tremendous impact in my life and so many others. Okay, I'll stop now. I just wanted to say thank you for coming up here and coming back because you took a little break. Thank you for coming back and thank you for coming up here. Okay, I will stop. Jay,
Well,
go ahead.
thank you for the warm welcome. I appreciate it. I'm Jay, Virgo JV on TikTok and here on YouTube. And I am a type 2 diabetic that's 21 months in on a journey with Manjaro. And I'm 32% down in my body weight on this journey so far. Got more to go, but I'm being patient with my body, with medication, and just learning all the things I can along the way.
I think Obs is trying to. There we go.
Sorry. Technology. Hi, I'm Aubrey. I am Aubrey.Zeppity on TikTok, YouTube, and that's about as far as I've gotten so far. I'm 46 and 15 months in on my journey with Zepbound, and I suffer from the chronic disease of obesity, PCOS, and severe obstructive sleep apnea. I'm down 23%, and I've been there for like months. So I too am being patient like Jay, but we continue to work. We continue to make changes and do what's best for our health.
We'll go with Tiff. We'll go with Tiff.
Okay. I was like, am I going to be next? I didn't even know. So,
Like, yeah, let's just go with Tiff.
So rise and shine, everybody. I am Tiffany. I am the real Tiffany on all platforms. I am also Tiff MJ Journey on TikTok as well. I have been on this journey to a better me, a better, a better health and all the things since November of 2022. I started with a GLP-1 in June of 2023. And I am now, in a space of just kind of enjoying where I am, but still pushing through to the next level. I'm not really sure what that next level is really, but I know that it's coming. I am being very patient. I am allowing my body to speak for itself and to do all the things that I know that before it couldn't do. So I am excited to be here. I'm very thankful to be here. Not a lot of people see me after 7 or 8 o'clock, and so one thing I'm going to do is show up for Sabrina and Jay every time, and Dave too. Let me go ahead and add Dave on there too. Okay.
Thank you so much. I know that because you're early crew. You are a very, very early riser, so I appreciate you, Tiff. Kendra.
Hi, I'm Kendra with the Y on all platforms. I am 30 and flirty, and I am thriving. I've been on this journey for a year and 3 months. I've come to a place where life has happened, but I'm pushing through. I don't have all these fancy numbers like everybody else, but I am what they considered a slow responder. I am type 2. Um, and then the year and a half, I've lost about 35-ish, 40 pounds. So, I mean, but I'm just pushing through, and I'm trusting medication, and I'm just trusting my body and trusting myself, and um, I am happy to be here, and thank you.
Thank you.
Can y'all hear me okay?
Yep.
All right, just make sure I had to switch microphones. I'm Jake, aka Coach Z. I'm the Real Coach Z on all platforms. You can find me at therealcoachz.com to find all my spots. But I'm 38 years old. I've been on some form of tirzepatide for about 2 years and 3 months. I started like Tiffany in November of 2022. I started out on name brand Mounjaro in preface to getting gastric sleeve, and then thankful that I did, because I was in my last appointment before I had my procedure, and my doctor was like, "Hey, let's try this first." And I was like, "All right, fine." And so I got on Mounjaro and stopped from having gastric sleeve. So that was pretty awesome. Um, like many people that I'm sure can identify, I got kicked off insurance coverage randomly, like in April of 2024. So I went like on 15 milligram Mounjaro and cut off cold turkey, which was not a good time. And then I got on compounded about 90 days later. In that time, I gained like 30 pounds. I did not know how to regulate myself as well as I thought that I would. But I was able to stop the gain. And then about 3 months later, started on compounded to try to work my way back down. So I'm sure a lot of people can identify with the insurance issues and kind of the uncertainty in the landscape right now. So praying that that works out. But yeah, I'm thankful to be here. And I really enjoyed getting to know you guys over the last few weeks.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming up.
Hi, I'm Lauren. After Kendra said 30 and flirty, I was trying to think of something fun that rhymed with 40 and I couldn't. So, but I'm 40. I've been on tirzepatide. I started on name brand Mounjaro and now I'm on compound since July of 2023 with a couple breaks. I don't know the percentage. I didn't figure out the math before I came on, but I am down now about like 70-ish from where I started. I'm back up a little because I took a break. But I'm just so thankful that I found this community because I would probably have been lost a million times on this journey without it. Because like you guys touched on, there's really not a whole lot of information out there until the community started, making that a thing. So I'm just excited to be here with you guys.
Thank you guys so much. I cannot articulate how much this means to me. Your voices are so important, and I'm honored that you chose to share your voice. So, hi, everyone. I'm Sabrina. I am a breast cancer survivor, type 2 diabetes, and obesity. I have struggled with my weight for 20 plus years, up and down, up and down. You guys know that song and dance. I just decided to make a change and found GLP-1. I am down 34% of my body weight. I've been on Mounjaro for 19 months and have a deep love for this community, healing all aspects of your life, and pushing people outside their comfort zone. You need to work out. So I demand it. Slow, small things. Slow, small things. I'm not saying you have to be a gym girly or a gym bro, but you do need movement in your life. Whatever that looks like. Even if it's doing squats or calf raises or walking up and down your stairs at home, picking up milk gallons, something. Do something. That's all I ask. But other than that, I am committed to welcoming new GLP-1 users into this community. That is one of my passions, because when a lot of people get this medication, they aren't really given a lot of direction from their doctors sometimes. So, like, their providers are, good luck. And they come to TikTok or they come to these platforms looking for help. I want them to know that this side, this corner is a safe side. This is a safe corner for you, where we will love you and support you. but not give you medical advice. Won't give you medical advice, but we will help you. And any way that we can. And I host monthly challenges that encourage people. And it's not even always physical. You know, there was a gratitude challenge where it was a challenge to come up with something that you're grateful for. The plank challenge, and I lost some friends on that one. And this month is the arm challenge, and it's important to me that it's inclusive for everyone. I make it that everyone can participate. So that's me. Okay, so does anyone? Oh wait, no, everyone was supposed to give me a non-skill victory.
How dare you, Sabrina? How dare you?
Hold on. So let me give you my non-skill victory because I cried yesterday. I cried. So for me, it was I was laying in bed yesterday morning and I felt my ribs. I haven't felt my ribs in 20 years. So I started crying, you guys. I was like, what's that? so my non-scale victory is I've got ribs.
Pop out.
You know, I was like,
right.
oh, can I come through? So that was mine. I could not wait to tell you guys. Jay?
Yeah.
Dave, do you have a non-scale victory?
I didn't do my homework. Apparently.
That's okay.
Well, let me think about it.
Okay,
Let me think about it.
I got you while you're thinking, Dave. Sabrina's all about the physical movement, and I believe in getting movement in as well. And so I've been very consistent about that. But also, I believe in getting the mental work in along the way and getting that in regularly. So my non-scale victory was this week. I did lots of mental check-ins, met with the therapist, met with the psychiatrist, and I did it without kicking and screaming. So I say kudos to me. Kudos to me. But yeah, I put in the mental work this weekend. I feel really confident and proud about that. So.
That's amazing. That's a huge part of this journey.
Mm-hmm.
I would suggest maybe the biggest part of this journey.
It's definitely nothing to sneeze at. A lot of people come to this journey underestimating the amount of mental effort that it takes. You think that you'll start, jabbing and injecting with this lovely medication, the pounds will start to melt, and then life is sunshine and daisies and boxes of chocolate. It's not.
It's not.
There's a lot more to it than that. I mean, even just grasping with the fact that it's not consistent slope downward. You have to process that. And even when it starts going downward, you have to process, why am I not seeing it in my body? That's weird. The number's dropping, but I'm not seeing it. So there's just a lot of work to do along the way, whether it's good, bad, or otherwise.
That's a great non-scale victory. Ops?
I think honestly, I'm starting to believe in me, not just the power of medications or anything like that, but that I can actually do this, because every time before this, I didn't. And so I'm starting to believe in me, and there might be a little hint of love popping in there too. So yay.
Well, that just made my whole day. That's amazing.
Amen. So for me, and I feel like I've kind of talked about this for a little while now. So I don't, look, for those that are coming to ATL, just know I have had an outfit in my closet for maybe a few months now. And so I had, sometimes we have things and we put it in the back and we we'll buy things because we try to find something else now that we're impulsive about. And so that has been kind of like buying new things and buying new clothes that, show off a little something. Okay. And so I have this outfit that I said that I wanted to wear. And so I was getting ready to kind of start trying to put it together and try to see now. And I had told Shannon, I said, I'm gonna try to do some content around it because I need to see what it looks like now in relation to what's gonna look like in June. And so I put it on and I was like, I expected it to be a little bit tighter than it was. And when it wasn't, I was like, okay, well, there goes the content because I need to find something else. So I'm like, where do we go from here? But I mean, that is definitely my, NSV for the week and for, I feel like the whole month, because I've been trying to just kind of wait and you wait it out. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'll try it on now. I'll try it on. And yeah, it's just, those are the surprise things that you just don't expect because we're thinking one thing. And then when another thing happens, it's amazing. It is.
I agree. That's a great one.
For me, it's just, I think that I'm starting to relearn to trust the process. I've been going through some things over the past couple of months, so I'm just relearning to just trust the process because I know the process works, right? So here I am, and I'm like, girl, get it together, snap back into it. You know it works. You know what you need to do. You have all the tools. I mean, I know y'all don't give medical advice, but this is where I get all my medical advice from because, like you said, my doctor didn't tell me anything. She was just like, here you go, you're type 2. You don't have to take the metformin anymore. Go for it, girl. Like, didn't know anything about protein, didn't know anything about drinking water. So I'm just learning to trust the process, but I do have another one. I don't have to rock twice when I get off the couch anymore.
Oh, that's great. I know exactly what you're talking about. And I never see, this is why we talk about this, because I had to do that to get up.
Yeah.
Now I just pop up.
I don't have to rock like an old lady. I'm like, my granny one day, she had said to me, she was like, oh, you okay, sugar? You got it? And I'm like, I got it, sugar.
Oh my God.
And now I got the Megan knees, so.
Whoa,
You better show out. You better show out every time. Every time.
I can't be fixing Megan knees. I would be out of control with Megan knees.
I'm jealous. I didn't get the Megan knees yet. I'm not there yet.
I never had them. I was, because I can't even blame it on age. I never had the Megan knees. Okay.
That's awesome. So I've got two. My favorite one, probably from my entire journey, was whenever I was finally able to have like a normal sized towel around me and it not blow out. Like I was like, yes, like that was a goal for a long time. Is like have a normal sized towel, not just explode off my body when I let go of it. And then today, actually, to kind of piggyback off Jay and Kendra, talking about the mental side of things. I've been in the stall for 3 or 4 weeks now, and I was sure today that whenever I popped on that scale on my Friday weigh-in that I was going to be under, and I was actually up from the last 2 weeks. And in the past, like early on in my journey, I would have had a full-on like freak out meltdown because I've been doing all the things and I expect to see certain results. But now it's more of like, trusting the process. Like, hey, I know I'm going to get through this. Maybe I need to adjust some things. But having the mental maturity and growth over the past 2 years has been exponential, and not letting the number on the scale define me and just wreck my day. Right. That's probably that's probably the best mental thing that I've experienced is just, not letting that number on the scale like rule my world.
That's incredible. That's it. That is so powerful. That is so powerful because although, I mean, the scale it's a tool to measure your success on this. It's not the end all be all. It's just one of many. One of many.
That's it. I'm still trying to figure out where you find Coach Z at. Like I've never seen him before, and I'm like, where my question down for later. Like, can I ask the question later? Like, what you coaching? Like all that. Never mind.
Yes. Was it Brian's panel?
Yeah, it was Brian's panel.
Yes, Brian's panel. So I've been wanting to do an all men's panel because let's be honest, you guys, every platform is primarily it's women who feel comfortable sharing their journey. But I think it's so important to allow space for men who feel comfortable to share their journey. So when Brian did his all guys panel, I was like, follow. I was just like poaching. I picked up so many great creators, and I just it's so I'm gathering my people for my almond panel. It's coming. It's loading. But yes, that's where I found them.
So my non-scale victories, I wasn't sure how deep we were getting. So I have like a lighthearted, fun one and also like a more important one. But last week for Valentine's Day, we went out on a date night and I started like thinking like a couple weeks ahead of time, like, what am I going to wear? Because honestly, on this journey, my size has fluctuated so much that I live in leggings and sweatshirts. Like that is my wardrobe every day. So I'm like, I actually have to get like dressed and leave the house. So I have to look nice. So I ordered this dress and it got here like 2 days before and it just fit. And for those of you that know, you know, like plus size clothes, that's not a thing. Like that's my whole life. Like I would have to buy like, if I'm going to do it online, it would be like 3 things. You try them all on, you send a couple of them back. You might send all of them back and you might be running to the store the day of, you know what I mean? And I've never in my life just like saw something cute, used the size chart and it fit me like a glove. And it was kind of like, you know, it was kind of tight and that's out of my, you know, normal comfort zone too, because it shows things, you know, and I'm usually trying to wear the big baggy stuff to cover everything up. So, and I felt good about it too. Like I didn't spend the whole night like picking at it and like, you know, feeling uncomfortable. So
may I say this, Lauren? Because baby, you wore that dress.
Thank you.
Wore that dress. I saw it and I was like, okay.
I'm just sad because I feel like by the time it's time to wear it again, it'll be too big, which is a good thing. But I don't think I'm going to get much use out of that because that thing really was cute. But yeah. Then my deeper non-scale victory, like over this whole journey, you guys know this, but I don't know if everybody watching does, is that like I learned through this journey that this medication has helped, you know, fix my PCOS so much that I can conceive. And I didn't know that I could. And you know, obviously, like the last few months didn't go the way we were planning, but just having that piece of information, knowing that we can, and now we're, you know, making decisions for the near future, that's really exciting. And it's something that we thought was off the table a long time ago. So.
Yay.
That's life.
Yeah.
By the way, Lauren, may I give you just one piece of advice?
Of course.
Make an occasion every week to wear the dress until it doesn't fit again.
Come on. I'm telling you, because I was like, again, you mean like next Valentine's Day? No.
I'm just going to, you know, wear it to work from home on Tuesday.
Okay.
You know, what's up?
It's Wednesday. Like, it's Water Wednesday. We dress up on Water Wednesday.
There you go.
No joke. I will like random Tuesday or whatever day. I will wake up. I mean, and I will full hair, makeup, jewelry, and then like my kid's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "It's Thursday."
I do need to do that more. It feels good
because I feel better.
Yeah,
I feel better. For years, I didn't. For years, but Dave, did you?
Yeah. So thank you for everybody sharing. It's funny, like when people share it, you like kind of get thinking about your own week, and yeah, it's helpful. So thank you all for going before me. And okay, so here's the deal. Like I've had a rough month from a personal journey perspective. Just I don't know, stress, getting out of some of my normal rhythms and routines because of said stress. So my scale's gone up 10 pounds this last month, and that's been very hard thing to deal with at the top dose of Manjaro, and not really feeling like, other than getting out of some rhythms and routines, not really feeling like I've done much different. So it's just a really frustrating place to be. And then, you know, when you're kind of putting yourself out there, the way that I have for the last 2.5 years, you hear about it. You hear about it from people. And that can be a hard thing to do. So I would say that one of the cool things for my week was just, you know, working on my mindset and being able to just do it. Just keep doing it. And just sort of learning to have the discipline to not let people have your mental real estate. You know, that's a hard thing for me. I'm learning that the more I get into this and the more you have to deal with negativity and harassment and stuff like that. Like I'm learning to not give away my mental real estate to people. Another cool thing I realized, get a little on the spiritual side, but because I've been dealing with just like an increase in just kind of harassing contacts and things like that, without getting too deep into it. My boys are both actually all three of my older children are doing a speech meet at school, and they go to a Christian school. So part of what they get to choose is they can either choose a verse or they can choose a short story or a poem. But my son's verse just talks about some things that were super meaningful to me. And so all week he's repeating this verse to me over and over and over, because he's like, Dad, I think I got it now. I think I got it. And so I'm just following along. And every time he repeats that verse, it just sinks deeper and deeper into my heart. And it just talks about how, I'm a follower of Christ. So I am called to just live righteously. And if I do that, then those who seek to destroy me have nothing. If I'm doing the right thing, essentially, they don't have anything to destroy me with. And I just like let that really sink in. Like, okay, you're just a reminder, like you're doing things the right way. You're treating people well. You're not doing anything that people can attack. Right. And so just hearing that verse from my 11-year-old all week on repeat was such an uplifting thing for my soul at a time when I really, really needed it. And the other thing that I would say was just a thing was I just remembered this week, like the community helping me get my book back. I was already in the dumps to start the week, but the community sort of helping me with that was just another sort of affirmation of just like, you just got to keep doing it, Dave. Just got to keep doing it. Just got to keep doing it. Even though the scale would say otherwise. And on the topic of the scale being up, the victory for me is none of my clothes are fitting any different. Like that's the kind of weight gain on the scale. That's not really weight gain, right? It's inflammation. It's a lot of things, but having my clothes still feel the same way on me and like, all right, I know that it's just a mental thing, and being able to get over that mental hurdle was a real win for me this week.
That's, win, win, win. Like all of, all of those things are just, these are incredibly powerful moments, guys. These moments are what, when I look back on my journey, I'm not going to remember what the scale said. I'm going to remember these moments. Mm-hmm. Right? Because this isn't just for me, this is not just the next couple of months, next couple of years. This is the rest of my life. This is the rest of my life. So I want to make sure that we are setting ourselves up for success and recognizing and picking up those moments that typically you wouldn't have been so focused on because you're so consumed by the scale.
Like when you're consumed by the scale, you think that that's the most important thing on the journey, right? Mm-hmm. So like you hit 25 pounds down, hit 50 pounds down. You don't remember that date on the calendar a year later, 2 mm-hmm. years later. You don't remember that. You did it, but you remember your feelings of success, and that's about it. But those non-scale victories, the moments where you're like, I wore that dress that I thought I couldn't wear, right? Like you remember that moment. You're like, yeah, I looked good that day. Like you remember those moments. You don't remember the scale because the scale is a number, and numbers are forgettable. Think about all the numbers that you don't remember at this point. Like, I know none of y'all know a phone number at this point.
I don't know a damn number. Not one single number.
No numbers.
My mama had the same number since I was in elementary. So that's the only number I know.
So,
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, to that tune, like whenever you've been doing it as long as a lot of us have, like I remember like going through the first part of my journey, and it's exciting because it's all these firsts. It's the first time I hit this weight. It's the first time I was able to get this size, the first time for whatever. But then you start getting into the long term, the long haul, and it turns into the marathon. And it's like, dude, like right now, like, I've already been 210 before. I want to be under that. And like, so there's a testimony in the trial, right? So what I remember the most is not all the victories, but it's pushing through the harder times. And those are way more meaningful to me because they relate to so many other people. And what I want to do is help people push through those moments, right? So like Dave sharing what he just did, kind of got me choked up on the spiritual side too, because I experienced something very similar. And it's one of those things where, like, the only time that you truly lose on this is whenever you quit. But if you can have the resolve to continue, just get back up. There's going to be time, more often than not, we're going to have failures on this journey. But when you keep picking yourself back up and keep on grinding through, you will see success. The only guaranteed failure is that whenever you don't get back up.
Jake, I'm a little bit confused by something you said, though. You said push through. I thought we were all taking the easy way out. It's not the easy way out.
It's anything but.
Right. Anything but that. But I say this all the time, Coach, everyone you guys have heard me say it. When you get discouraged and you say, oh, I'm quitting, I'm giving up. And then what? And then what? Because I don't know about you guys, but baby, I was struggling before this medication. And I mean, I'm talking, it was a daily struggle between the food noise. And I mean, I could eat. I remember going and having a salad, and I gained like 7 pounds the next day from a salad. You know what I'm saying? So when people say, oh, I'm going to give up, or I'm giving up, I'm not doing this anymore, I would much rather keep grinding at this than going back to that struggle, because I'm not going back. I will not go back to that no matter what. No matter.
Yeah. And that's where I'm at right now. Like, just trying not to get back into those old habits. Like I said, I've just had a lot going on. My niece lost her mother. It was just a lot. And so it's like now I'm trying to say, you know what, Kendra? No, you're not going to go back to that place. You fought your way out of that place. You've come a mighty long way. You're not in that valley anymore. The Lord has brought you a mighty long way. So I'm like, I've been fighting it. I'm like, I'm David over here, and Goliath is that mountain, but I'm gonna keep on slinging that sword. But so yeah, I feel that, Sabrina. I feel that 10,000%.
When I started, so if I was to stop, I'd go back to where I started. And when I started, I was desperate to be where I am now. Desperate. So
That's a word.
Yeah. I think about that too. And I have come off the meds twice in the last year and a half-ish. And the first time in 1 month, I was up 20 pounds, doing the exact same things, eating the exact same way, doing the workouts, up 20 pounds. And I know a lot of that was probably inflammation, but not all of it. And by the end of that month, like, I just felt all of the benefit gone. And I just knew, like, I don't care, the ups and downs, whatever this journey brings, I'm on it for life, because I'm not, like Sabrina said, I'm not going back. I'm not going back to that. And I, might have taken that for granted a little bit by that point in my journey. But that reminder of what that felt like before, coming back like that, it's not a life that I want to live. So I'll take the ups and downs.
but see, and then, so real quick, when people say, oh, it's the medication, it's the medication. Well, no, if I'm doing the same, because I eat the same thing every day. I eat the same thing over and over again. If I'm doing the same thing, but now I'm gaining all this weight, same movement, same this, but without the only absence and difference is the medication. That only drives home that this is a metabolic dysfunction.
Absolutely.
That's what drives home for me.
They don't want to hear that though, but that's exactly right.
No, eat less and move more.
Hey,
I don't know.
They may not want to hear it, but I'm going to keep saying it. Obesity is a disease. Obesity is a disease.
Yeah.
I don't know what giving up looks like anymore. It's been a 15-month journey, and never in the past have I ever been successful longer than 4 months is being nice, right? So like 15 months, even when I feel like things are not going well, I don't know what it looks like to give up. And you know what I do? I get on TT, I make my post, and the community lifts me up when I can't lift myself. So honestly, like, I really don't know what giving up looks like, and thankful for all of the folks who, even when I'm feeling low, are like, hey, you're good. We love you. Yeah. And I'm like, love you too. Thank you. And here I am again. Like,
Isn't it crazy that feeling though, Aubrey? Like not to know, like because I've known failure before. I've known what it was like to, work out and do all these things and nothing happens. And
Hmm.
now something does happen. And now I know that even if nothing does happen, if I keep pushing through, something will happen.
Right?
And so it's like it's kind of crazy like to look at it.
Yeah.
But we got to remember about giving up. The thing is that we can't give up this time. It's literally impossible because we are not on a diet. We are not in a workout phase. This is the rest of our lives that we're talking about here.
Yeah,
We're on a mission for our lives. And so, however long that is, this is how long we're going to be doing what we're doing and pushing forward.
yeah,
Whatever goal we have in mind, we may not make it there this year, next year, year after, but ultimately we're on a mission for our lives. So there is no giving up. That's
yeah,
That's good.
that's from somebody in the past. That's not us now because we
yeah.
are not on a diet.
Hmm.
That's right,
No.
Jay.
Hmm.
And I know I always tell people that I am a runner. And, people, it's like whatever running looks like for you. For me, it's a slow jog, but I
Yeah.
am still a runner, however
Hmm.
you want to look at it. And
Hmm.
that's literally what it is. Some days I go faster, sometimes I go slower. Sometimes I decide that I'm going to walk at a faster pace and I'm still going to consider that running. It just depends on what it feels like that day. And I feel like that's exactly what it is. Like, that's the journey, but I'm not going to stop because we're not going back. We're
Hmm.
not.
No.
We're still going, but we're all going at different paces. And that's okay because sometimes you're going to go faster than me. And then sometimes I'm going to go faster than you. And then
Hmm.
sometimes we are going to go at the same pace. And I now have to wait for OBS and say, you know what? I got you. I got you because I know you got me too. And let's do this together.
Yeah,
This is this community, this support, this I've never seen this kind of blind support, just unwavering, just I got you. I got you. And I feel like I can't fail because of you guys, because of this community. And I just I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for every single person who is out there supporting and being there for someone who needs it. So it's it's incredible. I'm actually going to. This brings me to one of my questions for the night. So, um, this question is: if you could, from right now, just where you are today, if someone offered you to be where your goal is, your end goal, your end all be all, like whatever, if that's a number, if that's a goal body, would you pick it? Would you choose to pick to be at your goal weight, goal body tomorrow? Would you do it?
hmm.
I have an answer for that.
Well, go ahead, baby. I'm waiting for
So
you to answer.
my initial instinct is absolutely, absolutely, and here's why. I'm 21
Yeah, I'm
months
trying to figure
in.
that out. I'm like, well, why not?
I'm 21 months in. I've learned lessons. I've learned some tough ones on this journey, right?
Mhm.
But I probably have more to learn, and so I am going to appreciate the lessons I learned along the way still. But you know what? Sometimes I want to see what the lessons look like on the other side because
Mm.
this doesn't stop once you reach goal at this point. Because once again, this isn't a diet, so this is a lifetime. So wherever that goal is, what does maintaining it look like? What are my new lessons to learn? So like I feel like I've learned almost everything I could learn on this part of the journey. So I'm just excited to see what's next. It's like a kid at Christmas. It's like what's inside the present? What's inside the wrapping paper? Like I'm kind of
Mm.
curious to see. But if I still need to learn more along the way, I'll let God take the wheel and I'll figure it out. But if I got if the genie was there and he said, "Do you want this as your wish?" Sure, I'll take it.
So your answer is yes. You would want to be at goal tomorrow.
Yeah, I say that now, but
Okay.
if it was 8 months ago, 12 months ago, probably not because I needed
Okay.
to learn more. But right now, I'm
Right
feeling
now.
confident.
Okay.
I want to jump in and give my answer here because I should probably pay more attention to my children. My wife's gonna get home and she's like, "I thought you were gonna do that for 15 minutes." My children are like cooking frozen pizza, and another one at the neighbors. I don't even know. Okay, so I think I'm kind of with Jay. Like that's my inclination. Is like I feel like I've learned everything I can learn at this stage, but I've also lived life long enough in seasons of life where I struggle and I struggle and I struggle and almost feel like I'm being tortured. And I'm like, okay, what's the lesson here? So I can just learn it and move on. I think the phrase that comes to mind is like, it's not the destination, it's the journey. I think that trials and tribulations have a way of molding us and forming us into our better versions of ourselves. That said, my gut reaction is like, yeah, where do I sign up? But I would say that the interesting thing that I hear, maybe some of y'all who are content creators can identify with this. Like in my community, there are a lot of people who have reached that number that was in their head, or that range on the scale that was in their head. And then the next thing is, well, now I have to get surgery. And then the skin removal surgery, and then there's the scarring. And I almost feel like it's very easy in our minds to chase an end goal that sometimes I think that our perception of what that goal even is maybe skewed. Because what I'm learning from those people who have gotten there and then now they're on to the next thing is that there's always something else to be reaching for. So I really do think that there's something to be learned in the journey, no matter how long you feel stuck in the same spot. But it's just, I definitely would be lying if even this past week, I didn't say that I felt like this is enough. I just like slice me, dice me, give me the bathtub Retatrutide, dude, whatever it takes. Yeah, Sabrina's like, stop. No. Not here. You're not talking about that, Dave.
You're not talking about Retatrutide.
Give it to me.
No. Y'all know how I feel about this.
No, and Kendra knows what I'm talking about. Anybody who's a slow responder, and I shout out to the diabetics, and the slow responders, because it's like, I built a whole YouTube channel off of how amazing these medications are, and they are, but even my own expectation of them has my mind skewed against them. Because what Mounjaro has done for me is it's given me my life back. It's made me forget that I'm diabetic, other than I respond slow to the weight loss. But my A1C is normal. Like I'm living longer by the numbers because I'm on Mounjaro. Mm-hmm. Right? My A1C is normal. It doesn't matter what I eat. My A1C is normal. It's giving me my life back. But again, comparison can be the thief of joy, and can really skew your perception of what success is. So yeah, it's definitely a great question. And I think one worth examining and re-examining, especially in those seasons of struggle, is like, what is this really about? Like, what am I supposed to be learning here, and what am I potentially missing? But if the button was in front of me, I'd hit it. If the easy button was there, I would hit it. I'm not gonna lie, but I have to tell myself, there, because of life experiences, I know that there's something to be learned, and so yeah, that's what I'm always trying to do personally.
I'm not gonna lie, I would want it too.
I'm going to listen on my phone, but I do have to pay attention to my children. Dave, thanks for letting me join for a little bit tonight.
Are you kidding me? Thank you. I appreciate you so much.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Dave.
Sabrina,
I'm not
can
gonna
you rephrase the question one more time? Because there's something interesting about the question. Could you say it one more time?
Well, now you're making me nervous. Just, if you could, if there was an easy button and someone offered you to be at your end goal, whatever that looks like for you tomorrow, goal weight, goal body, would you pick that?
So our only two options for end goal are goal weight or goal body?
Or goal, whatever. Like,
no,
whatever the end goal is for you.
No, I was just thinking because like the immediate thought was like went straight to like my end goal is a number or my end goal is a body, and it wasn't like my end goal is to live longer, be healthier, be happier, to be more accepted in society. Those are my actual end goals. The body is just a way to get to that end goal.
Mm.
And so,
Wow.
like, I guess, like, hearing the question was like my immediate reaction was yes, hit the button, and I'll get where I want to be physically because I assume that when I hit that physical goal, I'll get those other things. I'll get the longer lifespan. I'll get the societal acceptance. I'll get all those things, and that's my assumption. But I could be wrong that I get none of that when I reach that number, and
Mm.
that's kind of scary.
So to speak to that, my answer would be no. My answer would be no. If I'm going to be honest, brutally honest, I think for what I'm trying to achieve for my body, it's going to be about 2 years. It'll take about 2 years for me to get to where I want to go. And
2 more years?
2 more
Or
years. Yeah,
more years.
2 more years to get to where I would like to have a very distinct picture of what I would like to look like. And that's built in the gym. And for anyone who lifts or is, even if it's like strength training or resistance training, muscles, it's slow. It's not instant gratification. It's a very slow, it's built with consistency, consistency and repetition over and over and over again. So I think that what Jay's talking about is what would allow me space to get there. It is of the utmost importance to me that this heals and my heart heals along with my body. I mean, it is because I say this every single time. I don't want to have this banging body and be broken here and here. I want to be completely healed in all aspects of my life. So I want to take the time. I mean, like we said, this is the rest of my life. And what Dave was talking about, my A1C is controlled. So I added the health, so I'm working on the health aspect of it, but I want to grow. I want to learn. I want to heal. So my answer is no.
And speaking of the banging body and not being healed, like I think I'm the only single one up here, so I would say that I would be a complete hussy if that happened. So
Look.
so I have to heal.
Hold on. He said when that happens, you ain't a hussy now.
I guess not.
No, Jay, I told
It's loading.
it's like I told my girlfriend, I was like, when I started the medication, I was like, when I get skinny, I want to be outside naked. When it's cold outside, I want to have a bikini on. I want to go to the mailbox. I want to be outside raking the leaves with this tank top on. And now where I'm at in my journey, and the medicine did not, in the aspect of weight loss, did not do that for me. Like Sabrina said, my A1C is perfect. I mean, I'm 5.1. Like I'm rocking there. My cholesterol popping, right? Blood work. It's like all green boxes. And it's just the weight loss aspect. So for me, it's like at first I was like, oh, this is a test. Like, Lord, I know you're testing me. You're giving me this tool to help me, and uh, once I get there, I'll never turn back, right? And I was like, man, this is my test. This is my test. But now I'm realizing that this is my test and my testimony because I could be dead in my grave, right? And so this is my test and my testimony at the same time. And I didn't realize that at the beginning of this journey. I was just trying to get to like this goal. And then I was going to say, okay, this is my testimony. But this is literally my testimony. And I had to that came to fruition like a couple of months ago. Like, this is my testimony. Like, this, I've gone through the test already. The Lord is saying, no, this is your testimony too, girl. Like, this is for you, honey. Enjoy it. And I'm trying to enjoy it because I am not where I was a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like I did a year ago. I feel better. I feel healthier. My skin glows differently. I smile differently. The clothes fit differently. So, although I'm not there, I'm not like Miss Tiff or Sabrina, but I'm getting there. I'm behind y'all, like, hey, girl.
If you want to come on, baby. We got you.
Oh, yes.
I think I'd hit the button. I'd do it. And
You hit
I
it?
think, just to be honest, I probably do still have lessons left to learn, but I don't know if I'll ever get there. And I know that sounds crazy to say on this journey, but I think about a lot. It's taken me a long time to get here. And, now that we know that I can potentially have a baby, we're going to probably start trying to do that very soon. So I know that at some point I'm going to be completely starting over. And I'm like, will I ever see the finish line? I think it would be cool just to see it. But I will say that if I woke up tomorrow at the end of this journey, I would not know how to act. If the way I felt in that dress last Friday was any indication, Jay, I'm not single and I won't know how to act.
Look,
So
I'm
that's
telling
probably
you,
why God
it's like he
keeps
put
me
us
fat,
into a
to be
box.
honest.
I said, wait a minute. Like, what they got to do with anything? We going to act up in these streets.
Yes. Yes, that's probably why God has kept me fat, because I don't know how I would act if I woke up thin. I'll be honest with you.
Amen, sister.
That's amazing.
Oh, Lord, that was funny. I'm sorry. That was. But I'm with you right there for real. And and I don't know if Coach Z was getting ready to talk now, but
Go ahead.
I feel like so I can go back and forth on both.
Mm-hmm.
Like because really, like Jay said, my initial thing was like, pull the lever. Okay. That was ready. I was ready. But then I think back, and it's crazy because that she asked that question today, because I was on a live earlier and I was just listening and I was getting ready for work, and I heard and I was listening to some people and they talked about maintenance, and they talked about how we don't talk about maintenance that much, and we don't talk about what the mental aspects of being at a place of like a standstill. Like, we think about a stall, we think about maintenance, kind of really, I think about that in my head as being, that is the stall, that's the stall that you've been waiting for, though.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's not like we're no longer running a marathon. We're not looking and getting on Bruno in there to say, you know what, we're expecting something lower when we're not. We're no longer looking forward to that. And so now if I wake up tomorrow, am I even prepared for that? And have I done all of the work that I need to within myself? And I know that I haven't. I know I haven't. It's like the same thing. And I think back and I try to put things back into perspective of, what does this look like? I'm looking and I'm feeling like the same way for that person that now said, hey, this is what you wanted. These are the meds. You got what you want. What else do you want? What else do you need from me? It's the same thing. And now you don't know what to do. And that's why people come to look, like Kendra said, I'm looking for it. Look, we ain't giving no medical advice, but she's looking for it. Okay. It's the same thing. We are now in a space of, we're here. This is what you wanted. What else do you want from us? And so now we get to that place of, this is what you asked for. Now you're on your own. What do you do? If we haven't learned what to do and it's not sticking, when we get what we want, how are we really going to stay there? Because I'm always a firm believer in, how you get there is how you have to stay there, but you jumped the line.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't know how to stay there. You don't. And so I can go back and forth and I'm like, yeah, I am ready. But then I'm like, how do I stay there? Because once I get there, I don't know what to do. So it's really tough in that sense. But I tried to like think as everybody was kind of talking, and I'm like, I got to put it into perspective for myself, number one, because I don't know what tomorrow is going to be like. Because now I'll get there tomorrow, but then what about Sunday? What about Monday? How is that going to look now? Am I going to revert back to what I did? Because we already said we're not going back, but I don't know what it means to go forward. So I'm at a loss really on that. So I'm right there on the fence, but I'm really leaning towards, I can't do it. I can't pull the lever.
You know, what's interesting about what you're saying is that also makes me think, Tiff, about the fact that, you know, for so long, for many of us, our bodies have not been our friends necessarily. They've
Mhm.
been something we've had to work against.
Mhm.
And our minds have been fighting our bodies as well. And so if we reach that place all of a sudden where we're supposed to be at the end, like, do we have to stress about maintaining our minds and our bodies at that point? Because who's the enemy at that point? Because we haven't like fully healed that relationship with our body, I guess, because we didn't see it slowly become our friend. It didn't slowly start working with us. It just happened all of a sudden. So you like there's that mental shift of having to go, well, you're no longer my enemy, you're my friend now. And so
Mhm.
I guess like if you do it immediately, you don't see those changes, kind of like you were saying, Tiff. Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's a no. You know, my why changed drastically from the beginning of my journey to where I'm at now. And in the beginning, it was about revenge. I had a betrayal in my life that, you know, just sent me spiraling. And I was like, well, it's got to be because I'm too fat. And that was my own demon. And, you know, that's what kind of set me out on getting after it. And that got me about 6 weeks in before I was like, that's not enough. Right. And then I experienced some spiritual healing. And, you know, I come to realize over the last couple of years, like we are beautifully and wonderfully made as we're intended to be. And no one else, at least for me, no one but my God defines me. And certainly no trolls on the internet or my friends or my family or anybody else, right? Like, and you got to kind of step back and ask yourself, like, who are you doing this for? Because if it's to prove somebody else wrong that, you know, hurt your feelings, or, you know, to prove somebody else, or prove to somebody that you are better than they think you are, like they didn't have a place in your life to begin with if they treated you that way. And so for me, it's like the lessons that I've learned over this journey and over the last 2 years and 3 months is that I need those trials and I need those challenges because, you know, as we like to say in Christian circles, like iron sharpens iron. But the reality of that is if you want to have iron sharpen iron, be prepared to bleed, because these trials are tough and it's going to hurt and it's going to be frustrating and it's going to be difficult. But that's where the reward is. We before we all started this, we are already in pain. We are already hurt. Like pick your heart, right? I was literally dying slowly, but I was
Mhm.
dying. And
Mhm.
so for me to come back, you know, even to where I'm at now, it's like, why would I hit that easy button when there's so much joy and value in being reforged as a new person, you know, in particularly in my heart and my mind, right? Because, you know, the physical side, to me, the weight loss is just a byproduct of doing things the right way, right? So, you know, you're taking care of yourself and you were taking care of your mind and your heart and your spirit. The body takes care of itself, because as my old coach used to say, get your mind right and your backside will follow. He didn't say backside, but you get the idea.
Right, right,
You know, so you know, I just I can't see myself as much as I like all of you initially. I want to hit that button, hit it right now,
Mhm.
but I've been close to maintenance. And I have a video from December of 2023 where I was like, you know, 197. I felt great. Hit Wonderland. I was like, this is amazing. And then I picked another goal immediately. I celebrated for one day and I was like, what's next? And I put a video and I was like, you know, those of you that have gotten to where you wanted to get, like, is it ever just enough? Because I did not feel the joy or the fulfillment that I thought that I would whenever I got close to the end. All I did was pick something else to chase, right? So then it became of like, who am I? What is my identity? Because the number on the scale didn't fulfill me the way I thought I would. The body fat percentage that I was after didn't fulfill me the way I would. So then it becomes like, and this is a question I haven't been able to answer for myself yet, is like, what am I still working for? Other than I know that it's the right thing to do. And I know that the literal years that I'm adding on in my life to be with my wife and to be with my kid, like that's the long-term reward, right? Because on the track I was on, I don't know how long I would have been around. You know, I had every marker in the world. You know, I was not diabetic yet, but I had sleep apnea, severe anxiety and depression. I was isolating because I didn't want to see people because I was so ashamed of how I looked. you know. So I mean, spiritually, I was just dead. I had nothing, and I was trying to fill it with everything but the things that would fulfill me. So for me, it's a hard no, because I want this lesson. I want the trials, because that's where the testimony comes from, to help other people, and I want other people to find hope, because living without hope is hell, to be blunt about it. So
Yep.
my answer would be no.
Oh, that's powerful. You
That's
definitely
good.
got me thinking.
I actually have a question.
Yeah.
What if the purpose of this journey, we have it misconstrued? Most of us think that once we hit a certain point, we're going to be happy with our bodies, or we're going to be okay with our bodies, because we project our feelings onto other people. We see people in smaller bodies, people in bodies that we would quote unquote kill for, right? We see those people, we're like, they've got to be happy with their bodies, they've got to be satisfied. But most people are not, for whatever reason. So what makes us think that we're going to be the exception when we hit a certain number or a certain milestone? Are we approaching this completely wrong, to have that expectation? Like, because I can't think of anybody that is 100% happy with their body, because, and even if they're happy with their body, they're happy with their body in this moment, and then 5 years later, because the standards of beauty change, they're no longer happy with their body. So then what? So are we all expecting something that doesn't exist?
So I don't have a goal, and I've never had a goal. Because part of it is that I've lived in a very large body for a very long time. When I started this journey, I was 374. I'm now, I don't know, 288 or something. My scale's in timeout because I was weaponizing it. And so I'm 288 or somewhere close to that. I still have a really long way to go, and I can't actually picture myself in a typical size body. Like, that's not my reality. I've never been there as, an adult, and I'm 46. So I spent my entire life in a very large body. And so part of it again is I couldn't set a goal because I didn't want to fail. And I wasn't sure that that was ever going to be the thing. Now that I've been on kind of a wait and see approach, being patient, as Jay puts it, I have moments of like, well, this might be it. I have to love this. And here's the other piece to this, though. I suffer from mysterious medical things that they've labeled panic disorder in the past, adrenaline dumps, and that feels terrible. And so what I've been chasing my entire life is to just feel normal, like not have that going on. So for me, my goals are more around like, am I doing everything I can do to be as healthy as I can be? Because my life changed when I had children. And then I found out that my biological parents died at a relatively young age. And so I'm like closing the gap on that. And I'm like, my goals, I don't call them that, but I just want to live and be healthy, whatever that means, right? On paper, I'm healthy, but I don't always feel healthy. And so the habits that I'm building right now are the things that I'm trying to fix. So if I could change the rules of this question, if I could feel like go to a body that's a typical size for a day, a week, just to picture what does that look like? What does that feel like? I would want to, but only for a short period of time, just so I have an idea of maybe something else to look to. But I'm just kind of chasing feeling good. And as many of you know who've heard my story, for the first 7 months, Zepbound treated those adrenaline dumps, panic attacks, and anxiety, and it was completely unexpected. And I was like, holy crap, this is amazing. But then perimenopause, I think. So now I'm starting a different journey in conjunction with this one, but today's a good day. So here we are.
That's great, Obs.
Love it.
That's awesome. I can really relate to that too, because I lived most of my life in a much larger body. The last time I remember being like a normal size, I was probably like 4 years old. And so I don't really have like a goal weight either. I say when I get to goal, but to me, I guess I just mean when I get somewhere and I decide like, this is enough, I'm done. But just like you know, my health stuff is really what has been the most exciting. And that's the feeling I'm chasing again now since being off the meds, because, mine is mostly, I have an autoimmune disease and I have a lot of inflammation and joint pain. And that I didn't get on Manjaro for, like you said. It was like, you know, it was managed for the first few months and it was a very happy surprise. I almost instantly lost that inflammation and that joint pain. But this time around, being back on the meds for like 6-ish, 7-ish weeks now, I'm not having that same experience. It's reduced it quite a bit, but it's not like gone. Like it was before. So, you know, that's what I'm looking forward to, is like feeling that for the rest of my life. And I mean, yeah, I want to be smaller, but again, like you said, I have zero idea what that looks like as an adult. I don't remember the last time I was under 200 pounds. It had to be early in high school, and I'm 40, you know what I mean? So like just getting to 200 would literally feel like, you know, I don't know, the best thing that's ever happened to me. You know, I can't even imagine it or picture it. But I also have to deal with the fact that when I get there, that it's not going to look like what I've always pictured in my head me as a thin person will look like, because it's me as a thin person that used to be obese for her whole life. And it's me 40 plus, you know, getting to that weight. So, and I don't want to do all the surgeries, to be honest with you guys. I don't like the idea of surgery. I've had a few, you know, necessary that I didn't really do well with. So it's scary to me. So I have no idea what that looks like and if I'll ever love it, but at least I'll feel better.
You know, I'm related to this conversation, like the surgery. Like you just brought something up that just made me think about it. For my highest weight, I am down 147. So I have loose skin. I have a lot of loose skin, and it's never really bothered me before, but it's becoming painful for me. It's starting to become painful. And surprisingly, like now I'm thinking about potentially getting surgery eventually. I mean, obviously, like maybe in a couple of years when I get to where I'm looking to go, because there's still a whole lot of me that needs to go. But the idea of getting a surgery has just recently come into the picture for me, and I'm kind of struggling with it a little bit. You know, not that there's anything wrong, but it's just a new aspect of this journey that I had not ever thought that was going to be a part of my journey.
Yeah,
for sure.
No, I get that, because losing, you know, just a little bit of weight that I've lost, I'm top heavy. Okay. And so all my life I've been top heavy. My mom used to bind me in high school, and it was painful then. But then when I gained weight, it was kind of like I got comfortable in that place, right? And so like I never want to have surgery. I was like, shoot, I'll just live like this for the rest of my life. And I'm with you, Sabrina. Like now it's like painful. And now it's like, okay, no, I can't live like this. No.
Yeah.
It has to happen. So I get that.
Yeah. I have to wear compression. I have to wear compression stuff every day, like 24 hours a day. Like I have to wear, you guys know those OQQ like shirts that kind of, you know what I'm talking about, right? So everything hurts. My arms hurt. My stomach hurts. My legs hurt. Like everything hurts because of the extra loose skin that's like hanging off.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm trying to build muscle. I am, you guys know, I am trying to build muscle, but there is a lot of me that is just hanging off my body now.
I can relate to that, because even at my lowest, I was 81 pounds down, and I still have probably another 75 to go, but I already was seeing quite a bit of loose skin. And it, you know, it does cause pain, especially when you're having like joint inflammation, when I have a flare up already, and now you're carrying around this hanging, swinging stuff that's not supposed to be there. But And I don't say what I said to judge anybody that does have surgery or to say like I wouldn't. I probably will at some point. I just, the idea of it terrifies me. And right now, like, I don't want to have to do that. But I know me. I know, like, eventually I'm going to be like, all right, I did all this work, get this stuff off of me, you know? But it scares me just because I haven't had good experiences with like anesthesia and stuff in the past. But it brings up like what Jay said. Are we ever happy? Are we ever satisfied? Like what is the end goal if there is no complete satisfaction with your body? I don't know.
I can't even imagine that.
So for everyone that has not considered being sliced and diced,
Come closer, I can't hear you.
so for everyone that hasn't actually considered being sliced and diced, I am curious, why have you not considered it really before? Like, why was it not really on the table?
That's a good question.
For me, I've had surgeries, like with the cancer stuff, like that was forced on me. My appendix burst, that was a forced surgery. The cancer was a forced surgery. So for me, I'm like, I will never do this again willingly. You know, and then that was one part of it. But the other part of it was I'm working so hard to love this body. And I mistakenly thought that it was, I'm trying to love all parts of my body, even the hanging jiggly bits, you know, like I don't know. I have a lot of work to like process my thoughts and my feelings on this. I just never thought about it. I don't know why I never considered it. I maybe because it's not an elective surgery, but because there's pain and, you know, like, I don't know. I don't have an answer.
I have an answer for that. Um, so I lost a brother when I was younger. And so seeing my mother, like I was 5 years old, my brother was 17 years old. So seeing my mother, like my fear was if I ever have surgery and I don't wake up, I don't want my mom to ever cry over me. And that was something that I put on myself. She never said anything to me. And a, a lot of my life I have lived like that, where it's like, especially like when I got diagnosed with diabetes and, high blood pressure and things like that of that nature. Like, I'm like, you have to live because you don't want your mother to cry over you like that. Right. So it was like there was never a point in time where I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna have surgery," because I've always seen all the bad things. I went to Dr. Google, and then you start reading these statistics, and it's just like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna put myself in that place to where I might not be on this earth, or my mother has to go through that pain again, right? Or my father. And so I'm just like, yeah, no. So that's all in, and then of course when I did become bigger, I didn't live in a big body, but I developed a bigger body in college because now I'm away from home and I can eat Pizza Hut every night and, hamburgers and, I'm just living just free. And then I developed a big body and then I developed all these sicknesses and these diseases. And then I was like, yeah, I'm not going to put myself under anything because what if I don't come out of that? Like I didn't trust my body to support me in that way. So, but now it's like I feel healthier and I'm starting to get away from a lot of mental aspects of, holding on to other people's things because I tend to do that. I'm kind of like a empathy person. And so I'm like, I'm learning not to hold on to other people's things and to just deal with my own things and trying to learn what my own things are because I really didn't know what my own things were. And it's funny until I started this journey when I started to learn myself. And so that's why, Jay. Like I would never elect to do this. Never ever.
I think that's good. And I feel like I'm kind of the same way because and I still feel like it's still in the back of my mind, like, nope, I'm probably not going to do it. But I support everybody who is doing it. And I'm just like, yeah, maybe. But then I'm like, nope, I'm not. I'm not. And I know that it's just, and I feel like it's the same thing that I kind of have to overcome. And I have a lot of things like that. One, I have an issue swallowing pills. I had an issue with needles in the beginning as well. And so it's one of those things where I just get in my mind, and my husband's always like, he can swallow like 5 and 6 pills at one time. I'm like, I ain't doing that. I might choke. I'm not doing it. And so it's kind of like I get in my head about it. But when I think about the surgery and I think about being sliced and diced, and I'm like, well, what could happen? Do I think I would be better? Maybe. Do I think that I would feel good looking in the mirror? I feel good looking in the mirror now. And so it's one of those things where now sometimes I come and I I'll talk in class and I'll be like, "Ooh, I just saw something kind of wave in there," and I'm like, that's when I now think, well, you know what? Because I know that one, I feel like it's a lot of genes too, because I feel like at my where I am right now at 216, I am now down somewhere around like 106 or 108 in a space of I still want to maybe go down maybe just a little bit more, but I don't look like where I came from. I don't look like, people always say, well, you know what? It looks like you are, do you want to lose any more? Yes, I do. And they're looking at me like, why? And I'm like, because that's what Bruno said. Bruno told me that I need to go down just a little bit more.
Hold
Okay,
on. Tell everyone who and what Bruno is.
So Bruno, okay, Bruno can be your best friend or he can be brutal. Okay, so he is the square thing in the bathroom that you have paid for him to give you a number, and that's what he does. Okay, that's what you wanted him to do. Again, you ask and you shall receive. Okay, that's what you ask him to do, and that's what he's gonna give you. He's gonna give you the number whether you like it or not. And so when I get on Bruno gives me a number because that's what I asked him to do. That's what I paid good money for him to do. But other times I'm just like, all right, well, maybe I'm still okay here. Maybe I am. Now I have my doctor who's on board of, you know what, just go down maybe about 30 more. And I feel like that's going to get me in a good range. But at the end of the day, I'm like, well, you know what, maybe I could. Maybe it won't be as bad. It won't be. I hear some people talk about, oh, you know what, your arms are a little bit easier on the body. I'm like, okay, because I feel like everything else is okay. My stomach, my thighs are good. Because thank you, whoever keeps telling Sabrina to do these squats and things, okay? Like, I still feel good there. And I'm like, all right, I think I'll be okay. But then in the back of my mind, I'm still at that space of maybe. Even I talked to my husband about it the other day. He was like, but remember what you said on the live? You said you won't do that. And I said, well, I guess I should probably stop saying that. Because maybe I will one day. Maybe I will. But I know for me, that would be the only thing. That would be it. Just the arms. That would be it. I know that for me and my body, knowing my husband is a truck driver, knowing that my mom and my sister are down the street, but I know that I'm probably going to have somebody to be able to watch me and take care of me. I don't think I would want to have anybody to do that. And so that's another part too. So I think about that in a holistic way of what does that really look like for every aspect of my life. And I don't think it's going to be the best thing outside of probably the arms.
I want you to leave the space to change your mind though, Tiff, right? Just kind of how you were with this. Like, give yourself the space because you never know. Before I was like, no, I don't need that. I don't need that. And then I didn't know that it was with this journey, there was going to be pain, right? So the only thing I ask is that you just leave, don't leave it the door wide open, but leave it cracked. Leave the door cracked.
I'll take a little crack. A little crack.
Can we quote that?
Was there a pending question? I don't even know. We've just been chatting at this point.
You asked the question about where we push the button to
yeah.
immediately.
Okay. Has everyone answered that
Yes.
one? Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to start with, we're running real late, but we're going to start with Jay's question for the panel. That is, other than the number on the scale, how are you defining success on this journey?
I'll start if it matters. All right. So I honestly, I care zero for the most part about what the scale actually says.
Mhm.
And I was actually about to ask a question, so this plays right into that, because my question was going to be like, how did you define what your goal weight actually is going to be? And for me, like I come from a background in exercise science, and I'm a data guy, right? Like I've got literally 12 to 13 years of numbers on myself. And the way that I came to my quote unquote my goal weight or my number was actually based on my DEXA scan for body fat percentage,
Mhm.
right? So I wanted to make sure that my goal was, number one, realistic, two, obtainable, and three was based on something real, not just some fleeting number that I just tossed out there, right? So I know for me, like I want to be somewhere around 12 to 15% body fat. And based on my latest DEXA, I'm sitting at right around 160 pounds of lean tissue, which means I've got however many pounds of, fat left, because I'm at 210 now. So I need to get down to 185 or so to kind of crack into that goal body fat percentage. And I know based on, just what most people look like at certain body fat percentages from being in the industry, and, just Google it, right? Like, it's like, what would I like to look like? Is it going to be exactly like that? No, because they're not my body. I'm 5'8" and I'm built like a dwarf. So, I mean, it's not going to look the same as someone that's 6'2" with my on the same weight, right? But I wanted to make sure that my goal was based on something real, tangible, and making sure that it was something that was based on something real, that I could see and track, like, instead of guessing. Because that's one thing that I see so many people doing, and I think is a major pitfall, is they spend all this time on this journey and they're guessing at what's actually happening on their body.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of going and getting a DEXA or an in-body or even bioelectrical impedance. And there's degrees of error on those. But go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Sabrina.
Can you please tell everyone what a DEXA scan is?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll give it the easy version. So it's basically a light X-ray scan of your entire body from head to toe. Takes 10 to 15 minutes, and it gives you your real numbers. So your actual body fat percentage, your lean mass, which is water, bone, and fat. Most of them will give you your bone mineral density. So for ladies that are worried about osteoporosis, that's a great thing to track. And it also gives you your resting metabolic rate, which is the number of calories your body is going to burn while just being alive. Right. So that gives you a baseline of probably something you don't want to get under, because a lot of people don't realize that you cannot be in a massive caloric deficit for too long without down regulating your metabolism, and you wonder why you stall. Right. So we need this is gonna be crazy for people to hear, but you need to eat to lose weight. Like you can't you can't be in a negative 2,000 calorie deficit for forever and not lose muscle mass and also not damage your metabolism. So being able to have those numbers from a DEXA, and they're, for me, I go through a provider called Body Spec. If shout out to them, they're about $40 a piece. And they're going to range from anywhere from $40 to $120 market average, depending on where you live. And it's something you do every 8 to 12 weeks, and you can track without wondering what's happening. Am I losing fat? Am I losing muscle? Like for me, I did one 3 weeks apart because I was gaining weight and was like, there's no way I should be gaining weight. Well, come to find out, like 3 weeks later, my results came back and I had gained 2.7 pounds of muscle, which is awesome. Like 2.7 pounds of muscle, almost a pound a week. That's awesome. But also gained 2.4 pounds of fat. So that confirmed to me that, hey, you actually are eating more than you think you are. And so then that told me, like, okay, I've got to recalibrate. So then I got my food scale out and I logged every single thing that went to in my mouth, and I weighed it to make sure the serving size was correct, and come to find out I absolutely was eating way more than I thought I was. And this was during that period that I had to come off Mounjaro at 50 milligram, and I had no idea what my appetite versus reality of caloric intake was like. So that's what I was trying to relearn that while I was off the medicine. And DEXA really saved my bacon there, because that confirmed to me, like, hey, you're not doing what I know you think that you're doing everything you're supposed to, but you're actually not. So, my name is the Real Coach Z for a reason. Like, I keep it real with everybody, but myself included, because I'm not afraid to have those real talks and those brutally honest moments with myself. Like, hey, you're not actually doing everything you're supposed to. So for me, like, that goal, like, it was DEXA. To answer Jay's question, is DEXA. Like, DEXA is king for me. But or any other kind of body fat percentage that will consistently track what's actually happening to your tissues.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's nerd out DEXA for a second, cuz shout out Body Spec. I love you.
No doubt.
Because I had pulled a number out of the air that sounded good. I was like, 200 pounds down would be perfect. And that would bring me to about 186 pounds. My first DEXA scan, I was at 179 pounds, lean mass.
Yes.
Yep.
And then my second DEXA scan, I was 186 pounds. And so I was like, oh, of lean mass.
Right.
So I was like,
So your body fat would have been 0, right? Like if you got to go. So like that way you could like adjust. Like it just kind of gives you a better idea of a number.
It
I'm gonna have to look
does.
into that.
And that
I don't
also
think I've never heard of it.
it made me come to terms with the fact that I will never be likely at a healthy BMI ever. Because if I'm at a healthy BMI, my body fat percentage would have to be very low, or I have to intentionally lose muscle mass. And who's about to intentionally lose muscle mass? Because that's crazy talk.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
insane.
gaining muscle mass.
That's
Well,
why.
and here's the thing: the majority of the people on this panel and that are listening, when you're big, you tend to carry more muscle mass because you're literally working out all day long. So my goal was to maintain my muscle mass as best as possible for as long as possible and uncover the body that was already underneath, right? And so, and that's something people didn't understand is that you might find out whenever you start working out, you're probably pretty strong because you're pushing all this weight around all day long, right? And so then the body fat starts to drop, and it's like you start realizing, like, hey, I'm actually really strong, and I just need to uncover this body fat percentage.
That's it.
Yeah.
I always say I'm pushing big girl weight, and I'm like, I've been pushing big girl weight my whole life. What you talking about?
No, but for real, I don't know if you guys will. Jay likes his short shorts, right? Right, like the 3-4 inch inseam. Have y'all seen Jay's quads? I saw his quads, and I was like, goals. Like I would give about just about anything to have your quads. Like he's got killer quads. They're incredible. They're incredible. I love it.
And I just started leg workouts. Weird.
Yeah.
Sabrina, can you ask the question one more time?
Yes. Other than the number on the scale, how are you defining success on this journey?
I mean, so for me, I think that I think somebody mentioned just waking up and just feeling good, right? And so for a long time, I did define it as a number on the scale. Like, oh, okay, so I started at 286. Here I am. And my doctor told me one day, I've always wanted to be a mother. I feel like I'll be a great mother, and God promised me that, so I'm gonna be a mother. And um, my doctor was like, once you get to in the 230, we can talk about it. And this also goes back to a question that we had earlier. Like, once you get to this goal, like, what do you do now? Right. And so I went to the doctor, and she was like, you made this a goal. You can have a baby now. Like, this is great. Like, all your numbers are good. And I literally sat there and I boohoo cried because I was like, what do I do now? Because I've never heard that. I haven't heard that. I haven't heard the good news. I hadn't heard you're good to go. And so now I I don't define anything off that scale anymore because I was for a very long time. Now I define it off of like how I feel when I wake up in the morning. If I don't feel good, I don't feel good. If I feel good, I feel good. And that's how I'm defining things these days.
That's incredible. What a win. What a win.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I mean, I always feel like success is something that is really relative to everybody seeing everything differently and through your lens and through your eyes. Like, what is it? And I know that anytime I think about success, for me, it's really been that I want to get to a place of, I want to feel good. I want to be able to look in the mirror and say that, I have changed my life. I am here to stay. I am here for me. I am here for my family. I am here to be able to say one day I will be able to see my grandkids and play with them and, maybe one of these days retire. Whatever that looks like, I want to be here for all the moments. I do. Do I still want to be here as well to tackle that avatar ride? I do. I'm still scared. I just want to be able to say, can you strap me in? My husband said that the other day. He was like, just strap you in. You know you don't want to ride it anyway, and I don't. I just want to get strapped in. And then I'm going to say, all right, somebody can take my
You
spot.
want to get all the clicks.
Okay, let me just make sure I'm in. You can say, yes, go, but then I'm going to say, I'm getting off. That is success. That is success.
Damn thing.
Okay, let me
Picture,
out
all
now.
strapped in.
Let me out. That is success. And me and Shannon, we have this conversation all the time, and I think about this and I talk about this on my lives, and I say, what are you chasing? Are you chasing the body? Are you chasing a number? It's okay, whatever you're chasing, okay? But when you get there, what's going to happen? And for
Right.
me, I have now said I am chasing a number. I had to be real with myself, just like Coach Z. After I just started calling him Pastor Z now, but whatever that looks like for you. Okay? So
I'm down for it.
and I want to chase 199.9. I want to be able to see it because in my entire life, I heard when Lauren said, about, when was she in a bigger body at 4 years old? I don't remember even seeing the 100s. I don't remember. And I always talk to my mom and I'm just like, do you have a record of me being with anything with a 1? Because I sure don't. I don't recall seeing it. I don't feel like I've ever seen it in my life. And so do I want to see 199? That's what I'm chasing. Okay. I am chasing that. Do I measure that as being successful? I measure that as just like Coach Z said, like that's just one goal. That's just it. Now, if I go to 199 and I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm still trying to get to a range of somewhere between like 185 and 195. So that's still going to be a win for me because again, it's something that I've never seen before. And I feel like that's just something that is going to keep me to keep pushing ahead to get to that range. But I've never been there. So do I know if that's actually going to be where I stop? Because kind of like you said, like, okay, is that going to be the next goal? Am I going to celebrate? Because your girl like to be in the streets. I sure am. I'm going to. I probably will celebrate longer than 24 hours. Sure. But is it going to be that's going to be it? I don't know. I don't know yet. But I know that is going to be the first ounce of success is going to be that.
Okay. Okay. Jake?
Oh, okay. So I would have to say that basically for me, success is a confidence meter, right? Of me finding different milestones to be confident about. So for instance, there's this brand of shorts that I want to purchase, but last summer I was one size too large for those shorts. So like getting into those shorts this summer would be nice.
Yeah.
And then that would boost the confidence knowing that I can accomplish that. Having the confidence to pursue new, fresh goals because I know that I'll be around long enough to enjoy the fruits of my labor. Having that full confidence, that's something I'm looking forward to as a measure of success. The confidence to just dive in and start it. Because sometimes, there's that fear of what's the purpose of starting if you can't finish what you start. And so just building that confidence through the confidence meter of just watching it go up and up and up to just try and do more new, fresh, different things. That's a measure of success for me.
I love that. I love that.
I think the way that I don't know if it's like a solid measurement of my success every day. It's not something that I can like look at like, the size of the clothes or if we're not talking about the number on the scale. But the way that I feel like I'm being successful is just waking up every day and not having to obsess. My whole life, I obsessed over, well, I feel like crap. So I need to, I need to do better. I need to be smaller and I got to do all these things to do it. And these things aren't working. And why aren't they working? And why am I not good enough? And why can't I do this? And I just don't have those thoughts anymore. It's like I'm on autopilot. I wake up, like if I step on the scale and it's up a little bit, like that's something I've gotten used to. It's not like a meltdown. I just am able to keep it moving. And, I eat relatively the same every day. I do the same type of activities every week. Some weeks I step it up, you know what I mean? But I'm not like even thinking about it. It's just autopilot and it's just my life now. And I feel really good. And I like mentally as well. Like there's still things that I struggle with, you know. I'm not going to say I'm like a fully healed person. I don't know if that even exists, but it just feels normal and natural. And like I what I would assume that people that are, you know, born into healthy bodies and don't ever struggle with obesity or, you know, diabetes or any of these things, how they just go through their life, not obsessing over it like we have all had to, you know, and to be at a point where I can feel that way most of the time is success to me.
I think I look at it like if I start to build the small habits and then I can build some consistency around that and model healthy living for my own 2 kids and then watching them make healthy choices, I feel successful. And that's kind of what's happening right now. Like, you know, I'm working to really eat intentionally, which I can actually now do. Yay. And then build movement habits, which again, I can actually do. I couldn't do that a year ago. I mean, it was a workout just walking down the hall, honestly. So now I'm doing yoga and Pilates and resistance training, and I'm trying all these new things, and that feels pretty dang good. And so when my kids come down and they want to join me, I'm no longer like, oh no, don't watch me. Nobody needs to see this body working out. I'm like, yeah, scoot on over. Let's do this. And so I feel like all of those things combined make me feel successful, even when the scale is not showing the results that I want it to. I know that I'm building the habits. So yeah.
Can I go rogue real quick?
Yeah.
So something Lauren said, and it was just real quick, but she threw it out there, was why am I not good enough? And that is something that hits me so hard, because one thing that became a stark realization was how invisible I was to the general population when I was big. Because at my current weight, people engage me randomly in the streets, like at the gym, wherever. Like people come up to me and talk to me. They strike up conversation with me. When I was big, you know, people would call me, hey, well, you know, what's going on, big dog, or what's up, big guy, or whatever. And it was real condescending. Like it wasn't like a friendly thing. It was like, hey, fat, you know what? Like, you know, why are you in my space? Kind of mentality. And that's something that really struck me. And it really affected me for a long time. And at first I loved the attention, and then eventually it started making me like really angry. Like because I realized how much different it was being on the other side. And it also made me really reevaluate how I treat other people, because there for a little while I was kind of like, you know, kind of starting to feel my own stuff, and I was like, hang on, this is why God kept me fat, like someone said earlier. Like because I'm turning into a narcissistic jerk. I need to check myself. But you know, how many of us at the beginning of this, like one of the starkest realizations for me is that I'm a food addict, right? And that is the one thing that that people who have the workout or the move more, eat less crowd, that they don't understand is like the system is stacked against us. They literally have food scientists trying to addict us to their foods. It's unhealthy. Like and they're playing with our reward systems in our brains and all this stuff. That's a whole soapbox that I won't go down that rabbit hole. But that was within the first week for me. I'm a hyper responder to this medication. Was the freedom from food noise and freedom from cravings. It's the first time in my adult life that I've had a healthy relationship with food, and seeing what that actually felt like was mind blowing. Whenever because before I'll be literally eating a large pizza, wondering when I was going to get my next large pizza, or whatever, you know, whatever the thing is. Oh, after I have this, I need to go get some snacks, and then I need to go get this, that, and the other, and to be free of that and I got to the point where I was literally setting like alarms on my phone to remind myself to eat, which I don't know, that might be a little bit too on the extreme suppression satiety side too. I don't know. But you know, versus living in the addicted state where I'm constantly chasing that dopamine rush and in that, you know, that sugar high and everything else. I mean, I can't believe the difference. And in what the GLP-1s do in my brain, and we're even using it. I don't know if I can talk about this or not, but my wife is on it as well, and she struggled with alcohol, and she's not using it for that, but she's been sober for 60 days since starting a GLP-1, right?
Yeah.
And because it interrupts that reward system in the brain, and you wonder how many people could benefit from just that alone, right? No matter what the addiction is, to see that kind of freedom in people and to experience it myself has been literally life-changing.
I used to be a total wino, and I didn't label myself as having a problem per se, but it was often, and it was to the point where alcohol triggers an autoimmune response. So I have an autoimmune disease, so it's bad news. I'd wake up in pain the next day all the time, but I'd still have the wine at night because I enjoyed it and felt like, I deserve this as a way to like wind down or relax after a hard day. Almost instantly when I started a GLP-1, I don't ever want it anymore.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Coach, can I just ask or just piggyback on an idea?
Go for it.
Or just point out the absurdity of something. So you mentioned how people treat you better in your smaller body, right? Whenever you bring that up, a lot of people that have always been in smaller bodies or spent most of their lives in smaller bodies, they will say, oh, it's because you're more confident now in a smaller body, so people treat you better because of you. And they put the blame on old you and say that old you wasn't confident enough to deserve that kind of respect and that kind of attention. Would you agree with that?
I think there is some truth to, I certainly carry myself better now, but at the same time, like, I'm a human and I'm not defined by the size of my body. So whether I'm big, whether I have my own, gravitational pull or not, it should not define how you treat me, So maybe I think sometimes two things can be true at the same time.
I feel very, very strongly about this subject.
I can tell.
Like when it comes up, I mean, I feel very, very strong. Okay, so 20 plus years, obesity, right? You lose 30, gain 40, lose 40, gain 50. So this is what my weight did. And I'm not kidding. I've lost hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds in my life, like throughout my life. So I've been to both extremes, 125, 320. Like, so I have gone up and down, up and down. Baby, when I tell you, I'm very, very sensitive to people's energy and the way they treat you and the way they look at you, like all the things. And I'm not just talking about family and friends. I'm talking about society as a whole, right? There is absolutely a difference in the way people treat you. Small things. And I made a video about this. It's on my TikTok. It's going to a restaurant and people won't look at you in your eyes, right? Like people used to watch what I used to eat. They would look at what I was eating, how much I was eating, how I was eating. And it like small things, very, very small things that you had different energy. No, you don't like obese people. That's what that is. And the people who say this is, okay, I'm sorry. I have to get my thoughts because they're racing right now. My thoughts are racing. If you've never lived in a larger body, if you've never existed in a larger body, I'm sorry, you cannot speak on this. You cannot speak on this subject because you haven't been on the receiving end of it. I have been on both ends of the spectrum, and I 100% will stand 10 toes down and say it with my chest that people treat you different.
Yeah, it's real.
Even if it was based on confidence, right? If a person in a larger body walks around with the confidence of someone in a smaller body, the world feels like they have a prerogative. They feel like they have a responsibility. They feel like it's their duty to tear that person down. So they don't have that confidence because they believe it's unearned.
Yep. 100%. You see someone who's got that confidence and it is that girl. And everyone does everything in their power to tear her down. Who does she think she is to be happy and happy and have that with that body? Yeah, yeah. What Erica said, they want to humble you. How dare you be happy in that large body?
And that's the sad and wild part at the same time, because it's like the confidence has always been there. It was there before. Now, will I say it's with everybody? No, I won't. There are some people who are, they're like, oh, the old me may have just been on the side of the gym and I'm just over here. I'm just trying to do me. Now, you're walking a little, you got a little swagger going on. But that was, everybody's not like that too. Some people are just like, hey, they recognize me still in the gym no matter what the size was. So it's tough it's really tough on all sides. It is. But I do, and I feel like sometimes it takes my husband to say, do you really notice that some people treat you different? And maybe it's because I work from home, or maybe when I go, I pick up I don't go inside the grocery store. I pick up my groceries. Like, I don't go enough places to see enough people sometimes. And so it's kind of like when we do, I don't pay people any attention. It's like I have tunnel vision. I have tunnel vision. So I don't really see that. So when people talk about, oh, well, people say, oh, they'll hold the door for me now before they let the door just slam in my face. I'm like, I think people held the door for me before. I don't remember. I don't know. But I mean, it's those things though that we see and we experience, but all of our experiences are going to be different though. They're all going to be different.
And Sabrina, the eye contact thing like really rings a bell for me, because like before, like people just would not maintain. It'd be a quick glance and then they're looking away, or they're giving me the side eye. It's like, what are you doing in here in the sauna with your shirt off? Like, I only got one shirt. I don't want to be soaked. Like, leave me alone.
How dare you exist in this world in a larger body? How dare you be in this space with your large body?
I feel like a good example too is, and I don't know if everybody kind of saw this, and I think I can say this, but so when and I don't know if everybody has seen like Lizzo. So people were talking about Lizzo's new like videos and pictures and things, and of course the first thing people are going to say is that well, what's going on, and what are you doing? And I think about people like that when that always had the confidence of it's always on 150. It was always that. And now you still mad. You're still mad. Like you can't find, like you couldn't find, you tried to find some things before. Okay. You were mad and you said that she should do better. But now you still mad. You're still mad when she is saying that I am in the best health of my life.
And all she did was introduce animal protein.
Crazy.
Tiffany, they hate us when we're fat. They hate us when we're trying to not be fat. Right? You can't win. We are never going to win. Lose weight. No, not like that. Not like that. Right? Like we're never gonna win. We're never gonna win.
But that kind of brings it back to what I said earlier of like, who are you doing this for? Because if you're doing it to please the world,
right,
you're never going to win. It's rigged against you, and some you could do everything perfect, and there is still going to be someone who craps on it, like 100% of the time. You see it in our comments, in our videos and stuff all the time.
Yeah, all the time. Oh my gosh!
I'm so concerned we're doing it the wrong way. Like what are you literally concerned about with someone else's life? How they are living their life? How they are regaining their health? I have never a day in my life been concerned about how someone else chooses to be healthy or be unhealthy. Not a day in my life have I looked at someone and thought to myself, you know what? I wish that they would do this because that would make me feel better.
That's right.
Like always, my go-to is always, why do you care? Like, are you okay?
That's it.
Like, are you okay? Because let's take a bigger step back. And you're asking me why are you doing this? Why can't you just eat less and move more? Why are you doing this? I don't ask you about your blood pressure medication, right? Like, I don't care what medication you're doing. I don't care about your decisions about your life. why are you so pressed about mine?
But because the world is so pressed about people doing what they have to do to heal their illnesses and their bodies, what we're doing makes a difference. We have got to keep talking because there are people that don't have our confidence, people that will shrink back into the darkness, that will give up because the world is pushing against them. So
Right.
what we're doing, we have to keep doing to let people out there know it's okay to take back your health using whatever tools you can. And you can cheat your way to skinny. Perfect. Whatever it takes. You know what? Just care for your health. Use what tools you can. But we have got to be the ones to keep speaking out for everybody that can't do it for themselves. We have got to keep doing it.
I intend to.
That's right.
Intend to.
And I think that makes them uncomfortable, Jay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they say things about the way that we're getting healthier, the way that, you know, that we look in the process or whatever negative thing they have to say. It's because it makes them uncomfortable. But,
Right.
you know, we have to make them uncomfortable to make change.
And you know what's wild sometimes is that I'll actually go and my sister talks about me all the time. Is like, I scroll sometimes, but then other times I'm like, I'm not scrolling. I'd rather just listen to a live. I'd rather, you know, do all the things and then, you know, go and see a video. I've got to like sit and really focus on, well, let me go see what's going on over here with let me go over here. I haven't seen Sabrina's video in a long time. Let me go look at it. But sometimes I will literally go to a different side of TikTok. And I'm like, I'm going over here to the VSG side. I'm going and I want to see if do the trolls get y'all like they get us? Let me go over here and see what Dr. Now's got going on 600 Pound Life. Because there's no way y'all can be getting it as bad as we are. When we're all on the same road trying to do the same thing. But there's no way that now people come on here and they treat us just like dirt. When we are all trying to do the same thing. I'm trying to do the same thing that you're trying to do. I am trying to live my best life. I am trying to be here for a long time. What's the problem?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I just get so sick of are you supposed to be eating that? Are you supposed to be drinking that?
Girl.
I was like, ooh, the Lord
See?
knows.
She boiling again. Sabrina is boiling again. Look.
The Lord
Are you
knows
supposed
to not
are you
allow
supposed to
because could you imagine someone saying something like that to me?
There ain't no way. They're wild.
I think
I
they
ain't
be
never
it.
seen people who always watching our plate. Never.
Right.
Never.
Yeah,
People
it's
ask me all the time, what are you eating today? You don't want to know. You don't want to know for real. You don't. You look while y'all and I'm like, I can't tell you a story. I will tell you, y'all. Before I got here, I text Sabrina. I said I'm on the way, and I'm thinking I was already 2 amaretto hours in. There's gonna be some people who, you know, it's not gonna make you don't want to drink. Me, I do drink occasionally. I do. But before I was
Nothing
already
wrong
an
with it.
occasional drinker. But I am going when I go outside. I'm going to have something in my hand. I'm gonna have something in my hand. Will the other hand maybe have some water? It might. But then the other hand, I will have something. Everybody's going to be different when it comes to that, but I'm telling you right now, you don't want to see my food. You do not. You do not want to see my food. You think you do, but you don't because you don't want to really know what it looks like to be able to live and still be able to be in a healthier body.
Right.
You don't really want to know the truth. You want to still live in a world of diet culture. You still want to live in a world of, we don't want to hear people say eat less, move more, but that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
You trying to still eat less, even though you're like, no, we're not in that. That's not what we do when it
Did
is
she
what
freeze?
you do.
Yeah.
Dramatic pause.
Pause for effect.
Okay. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, you know, when people ask, you know, what are you people eating? The same thing you're eating.
Food.
Yeah.
We're eating food.
Same
Like,
thing
what
you're
are you
eating.
eating?
But
Yeah.
guess what? Now my body allows my body to look like I'm eating the same thing you're eating. And
Right.
what?
Thank you.
Because there are people that are, you know, naturally thin and haven't struggled with their weight and that would, you know, put it away like a damn trash can, like just anything and everything. But let a fat person do that. God
Right.
forbid, you know, in public or on camera, like you will hear all of the things.
Yeah.
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 Absolutely.
Not
It's
saying that we should, but I'm just saying.
right. Right. You know, there it is perpetuated that we don't eat when we do. We do eat, you know, and
We have to eat.
yeah, well, Coach was saying earlier, in order to lose, you have to eat, you know, and
Literally.
it's but there's just a lot of that out there, you know. There's a lot of that narrative out there that we don't. Hold on, I'm gonna go back to Jay's question because I didn't get to answer. Other than the number on the scale, how am I defining success on this journey? For me, it's the way I speak to myself. The way I used to speak to myself was, I mean, and I've said this before, it was horrendous. I mean, it was vicious. It was vicious. And I'm not doing that anymore.
That's a huge win.
That's probably been one of my favorite parts of success here. I fail. There are days that I struggle, but I don't walk past a mirror anymore and then tear myself apart. I mean, that would happen every single time I walked past a mirror. I would say the most horrendous things to myself, and that doesn't happen anymore. So that's my success. That's how I define it.
Love that.
Yeah, it's I think that's why it's such a big deal to me about the whole healing part of this, you know? I mean, it's not always just I think it's important to talk about things that are beyond the scale, you know? And it's changed my life.
Mm-hmm. I mean, but that's also how we connect with other people on this journey with us, is by talking about those things that are beyond the scale.
Mm-hmm.
Like saying that, oh, I was at that same weight, that means nothing.
Right.
But saying that, you know what, I was ostracized, or you know what, I had that same food noise, you know what, I had that same experience with shopping. That's what people connect with, right?
Mm-hmm.
People, when was the last time you looked at somebody and you were like, you know what, we're the same number?
Yeah, I've never done that. But did everyone go for Jay's question?
Yeah.
Okay. We've got less than an hour left, so I'm gonna try and we gotta focus, you guys. We gotta get to our questions.
Sorry, I won't go rogue again, even though I've got one loaded.
Questions.
You what?
It's just questions within questions.
I know. Okay, but so this one's from Aubrey. Have there been moments of frustration or disappointment, and how did you handle them?
Yeah. I'll go. So I was in a quote unquote stall for months and months and months. And I handled the frustration by getting data, because it makes a difference. Like, I got a new DEXA scan and I was like, oh, I gained 6 pounds of muscle. That's probably why the scale isn't going down.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, getting information, it helps with the frustration. Mm-hmm. Because even when it's just a mental thing, like, I don't want to go to the gym today. I'm so frustrated that I'm not getting the results as fast as I want. Well, you know what? By not going to the gym, you're definitely not going to get what you're looking for. Mm-hmm. So you need to go, and the information you need is that, look at the last DEXA scan. Okay, that's your data. Go forward and get some new data. You know, so it's like just getting information, staying informed about where I'm at. That helps with frustration for me.
That's good.
I wish mine was this graceful. There is absolutely a hole in my closet drywall from a time that I tried to put something on after I'd come off the medication and gained a bunch of weight, and I'd thrown away all my fat clothes. It's like that mentality of I ain't ever going back, right? And then all of a sudden, like I did gain the weight back because I was in that limbo, in that weird stage, and I had to get to work, and it was just one of those moments. It was like wham! I was like, well, that's $1,000, like. But at the same time, after that moment passed, kind of same thing as Jay. Like, knowledge is power, and information gives you guidance. And I did the same thing. It was actually that time whenever I did the DEXA 3 weeks apart. Like, it was in that time frame where I had to go figure out what was going on, because I was literally on the verge of a mental breakdown because I was spiraling. I gained 30 pounds in 20 days, right? And it was majority water weight, right? We know that, but like my brain could not wrap my head around it. But and I think that's a lot of it is coming at this from a place of giving yourself some grace. Because this is never going to be a down only. You're going to plateau. You're going to stall. You're going to have issues. Like, there was a period where it's just 3 months that I was burned out, and I just could not I did not have the mental fortitude to keep putting in the level of effort that I had been for the previous 2 years. And I needed a break. And I was like, I'm going to try to maintain for a little while and just survive because my life was chaos, right? And then just make it through. Because it isn't all sunshine and rainbows. Like, it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of it takes, people underestimate how much mental fortitude and discipline and consistency it takes to be successful, shot or not, right? And so for me, like, again, going back to what Jay says, and I'm gonna just talk to chat real quick. Someone asked if bod pods were still a thing. That is a bit of an outdated technology, but you can, at most commercial gyms, get what's called an in-body scan, and it's bioelectrical impedance that has a lower percent error. So if you can't get to a DEXA scan, an in-body is another really good tool. And if you can't get to one of those, you can buy, if you spend a little bit extra money, to get the scales that have the bioelectrical impedance handles along that are attached to your scale. Those have a lower percentage of error. So when you're using the same test to see like what's going on with your body fat percentage, you at least have some quick information to figure out what may be going on, so that you can kind of talk yourself back from the ledge and not punch a hole in your closet.
I'm gonna have to follow you. Do you have videos about this? Because I'm gonna look into that. These scans.
I'm actually in the middle of doing a deep dive into mine. I'm recording it, so it should be out probably in a week or two. It's pretty in depth. At least what I'm doing with it, because I really want to show people like step by step, like how to utilize DEXA information to tailor their goals to what's going on with them, essentially.
Yeah.
But DEXA's king, and I love it.
Because I feel like right now I am in a place. I'm gonna get back to it. I'm not drinking more water. I'm not getting more protein. I stopped working out. I want to get back to it. It's just like I'm just in a place, and um, I think that it's just because I have been a slow loser, and because and like you say, comparison is the thief. It really is, but it's like I I was doing all the things. I was getting the protein in, I was getting the water, I was working out, I was getting the rest, I was sleeping, I was, my mental was good, and the scale still wouldn't. And so I'm just like, okay, there has to be something else. All my blood work came back, thyroid, pituitary, everything came back, and so I'm like, there has to be something else. My A1C is a 5.1, 5.4. And so it's just like, so now I'm starting to think that maybe I need to see if these scans will work. And hopefully they do. So I'm glad. That's why these panels are great, because I need to know about the scans. They might be tea. So
Yeah, I mean, data is not going to hurt anything. It's only going to
yeah,
help the journey, right? Like,
yeah.
having the information is just another tool to help you on this journey.
And see, I'm not a data girl, so maybe that's where I'm losing it. Like, maybe I need to become a data girl.
Well, I mean, if it doesn't affect your mental health, then why not? Why not
Yeah,
try?
yeah.
Even if it's just for a short while, collecting data
Mhm,
and just for a while to get a baseline can be
mhm.
helpful. Even if you don't do it consistently, because it does affect your mental health, or you just can't bother with the pressure of it, or whatever reason, just getting a baseline for a little bit is
Yeah,
very helpful. Whether that's a baseline of your caloric intake, your water intake, just your
right.
body mass, like just getting a baseline is helpful.
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
baseline means baseline, not like using data for the wrong reasons, right? Because you can do that too, and you can then start to
Obsessed.
make choices that skew the data that maybe aren't the healthiest. So
That's true.
Hmm.
That's true.
Um, and I think that it's just important to reiterate, you guys. And I had a live the other day on TikTok, and we were chatting about just please make safe choices while on this medication. There's no reason to go rogue on this medication. Just let the medicine. Do what you guys need to do, and then let the medicine do what it needs to do. Just make safe choices and continue to try and strive and hit your daily goals, whatever
Well,
those.
and isn't that one of those things that something I certainly had to learn was balance, right? Nothing good happens at the extremes of anything, right? So in learning, and that was one of the things, and I'm sure we can all identify with the crash dieting and the crazy exercise routines, and I'm going to fast for 5 days or whatever, like just craziness, right? But in reality, like that balance and figuring out a way to kind of find that fine line between, you know, doing something that you can do long term and that also gives you success. And it takes time. It takes time to calibrate that and figure out what works for you, because what worked for me may not work for you, probably won't work for you. Like there's not a one size fits all for, for this whole thing. There's general recommendations for how our body should work, but I mean, what I can't tell you how many people told me to do this, that, and the other. I tried, it didn't work, and then I went back to what I knew worked for me, and all of a sudden, boom, I'm dropping again. So, you know, I preach balance all the time in all aspects, your mind, body, spirit, and physical side too.
Can I add onto that point?
Yeah.
Just be careful when you're out here asking people, what did you eat? Or what exercise did you do? Like, you can use it to gather information to discover some options that are out there, but don't try to replicate what somebody else is doing. Because just like we all lose at different rates because we have different bodies, different DNA, different metabolisms, like, we're all different elements are going to affect each of us differently, because maybe your sodium intake will affect your water retention differently than mine affects my water retention, right? So like, you can't base your diet and mimic someone else completely. You can't mimic someone else's exercise routine completely and expect the same results. So don't put yourself in that position. I recommend that for everyone. You can gather ideas, but do what works for your body ultimately.
I also think you have to continue to self-reflect, because, like for me, what worked 1 week, 1 month, did not the second week. Like, I have to continually reflect on what I'm doing and analyze the data, because I'm a data nerd, to really figure out like what's going to keep working, because I can't just stay on that same path for me, for my body. Some people can, but that's not my journey. So
Yeah.
Self-reflection and analysis is key.
I agree with that. And I think a lot of people like forget to do that, to like reassess. Because like even something as small as like being on this journey and then forgetting to recalibrate the amount of calories that they need to take in. I mean, they're down like 10, 15, 20 pounds, whatever number it is, and they forget to change their caloric intake. Right. So I think reassessing is very important on this journey.
You just hit something that is not talked about enough. Like, your goalpost is going to move as you lose, right? And people like, oh, like what my what my body needs whenever I was 272 is certainly not what it needs at 200 pounds. Like, not even close to the same.
That part. That part. Yeah, because when I started, I think my the doctor told me my protein goal, I think, was like 163, something like that. That's what I had to take in every day, and now he's moved it down to 100.
Yeah.
So, like, you don't just be mindful and speak with a provider. I think it's very important to speak with a provider when you're on these medications, and just reassess every couple of months.
I think, why not all of us make a goal to reassess every month? Why not? Just every 30 days, be like, this is what worked, this is what didn't work, this is what felt good, this didn't feel good, this, and what worked isn't necessarily what made the scale move, but what worked for you mentally as well. Like,
Mhm.
why not all of us like make an effort to reassess at the beginning of every month? Like March 1st is coming. It's a great time to reassess. Why
Yeah.
not?
Yeah.
Let's all make an agreement to do that. Like, let's just take a pause and reassess, and then
I
do it.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. In regards to Aubrey's question of moments of frustration and disappointment, for me, that came with when I was weighing myself prior. Like, I was very, very, very consumed by the number on the scale. I would live and breathe by that thing. And then I was doing all the things. I was hitting my protein, water, fiber, calories every single day, but I was also lifting very, very heavy at the gym. And then for anyone who knows, but with lifting, um, anytime I would do like leg day, I mean, I was lifting like 400 or 500 pounds. So your body floods itself with water to try and protect itself. So the scale would go up for days, and the bitter disappointment. I mean, the betrayal. The betrayal.
Like, how dare you not let muscles tear? How
I
dare you?
because I didn't
That's
know.
Bruno for you.
I didn't know. I was betrayed by it. So, how I handled it was I did research. I'm like, why is the number going up? And I came to the community. That's what I did. I came to the community and got some info and decided to put the scale away. Put it away. So, and that worked for me. That worked for me. It was doing research, getting information, and leaning on the community.
Yeah, to go off of kind of piggyback off of that and something you said earlier, Aubrey, about how like, you come to this community and you put it out there and then the community lifts you up.
Mhm.
And, maybe that comes in the way of getting like some advice, or maybe it's just support and love, but that's kind of what I do too. But now also like there's another step, whereas I used to eat when I was frustrated and eat for comfort. I tried that early in this journey and learned very quickly that was a really horrible idea, and had to break that habit. So now I like actually have to like feel the feelings first, and then I come to the community, or 9 times out of 10 my boyfriend first, and he's probably sick of hearing it. And then I come to the community and I vent and I regroup. And sometimes it's, a tip that somebody here gave me that helps me figure out whatever it is I'm frustrated about. Or sometimes it's just like taking that pause and like venting it, and just knowing that there's people that relate can kind of help, lessen that frustration.
Yeah. Very true. Very true. Does anyone else want to go, or has everyone gone?
I don't think I went. So when I think about like frustrations, it's mainly kind of, it hit me really when and I know we talk about, and I think Sabrina talked about like the roller coaster. We've been, we've lost hundreds.
Hundreds.
I have lost, I know 50 pounds 5 times.
Uh-huh.
I've lost 30 pounds 3 times. And so when I realized like the last number that I could remember from before hitting and the high of 326, it was 220. And so I started, as I got to 230 and I got to 225, I started to have so much anxiety around it, because I'm like, well, what's going to happen next? Because when you get there and you now get what you want, how do you stay there? How do you now continue to do all the things? And that was a frustrating point for me, because now I've gotten there. I was there, and I was literally there for maybe about a month and a half, and I'm like, this is it. How am I going to get past it? And it was very, very tough for me. It was tough for me to say, now you've made it. Does this look like, is this what success looks like again for right now? It did. That was success for me. But then because like I said before, it was gonna take me more than 24 hours to celebrate. So it took me about a month and a half, and I could not get past it until I really realized that this is not the end. This was just that now the goalpost is moving a little bit further down the road. And it took me some time to get my mind back right and figure out, well, you need to make sure you're drinking your water. You got to drink your water. You've got to do it.
Your water.
You tell people to do it and you're not looking in the mirror and you're not looking at yourself. And so I had to really be real with myself, and we had to literally have a coming to Jesus meeting and say, all right, you've been here before. What are you going to do? Is it going to be business as usual? Or are you going to go back when you said you weren't? And that was my frustrating moment. Yeah, that was literally it.
But you said that you've gone past that.
Yes, I have.
So,
yes.
So time, treatment, and consistency.
Yep. All of that. That's it. Follow do all the things that you already know how to do. We had to get there. We had to get there somehow. So what I was doing before was still working. Now, do we have to reassess? Yes, we do. We have to reassess. Now, was it anything drastic? Was it anything that like I had to do that was, extreme or anything like that? No, it wasn't. It wasn't. Now, did it cross my mind? It always does. It always does. It's going to cross my mind of, Tiffany, you could just do this and you'll be there. Right. But I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm just going to continue to stay the course and do the things that I know that works.
There are times that it's very easy to fall back into that mindset of, oh, well, I could just do this. I could just do this. The crazy stuff we used to do, right? Like the crash extreme stuff. And I'm like, nope, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not falling back into that mindset.
It's true. Because mine just happened to be around the holidays too. And we're like, when we think about, what do we do or what do we used to do after the holidays? It's like, well, it's now. It's the first of the year. New year, new me. Yeah. We gotta that's just it. I'm like, yeah, this is it. This is my year. Yeah. So it was kind of like, are we gonna do the same thing? Are we going to have those same thoughts of, all right, I'm just gonna do this for 30 days. This is gonna be my jump start. This is it. And it just wasn't. It just wasn't.
That ain't it. That ain't it.
We think about those extremes we went to, and we tell ourselves the fallacy that, you know what, it worked, but actually it didn't work. If it worked, we wouldn't be back where we were.
Exactly. It worked for that long until you could stop giving that inhuman effort, right? Like this.
But no, that's the thing. I don't consider that working at this point. I know what working looks like. Working looks like what these meds are doing for me, along with lifestyle changes. That works.
Right.
Without going to the extremes. Because when else can I say I'm 21 months into a journey and I haven't blinked at the thought about rebounding? I haven't kept over 100 pounds off for
ever.
For 9-10 months before. I've never done that.
Right.
And so the thing is that it didn't work, but we keep telling ourselves, oh, it worked in the past. Maybe I should think about doing the extreme thing for just a second. But it's like, it's not worth it because it actually didn't work for us.
I feel like we did a lot of damage to our metabolism with those extremes.
Well, and you think about for long-term outcomes, what's actually more efficient? 100% effort for 8 weeks, or 80% or 100% compliance for 8 weeks, or 80% compliance for 2 years. What's going to actually yield you the results that you want? And but to that point, it wasn't until I got on a GLP-1 that I was able to be in a place where I had the discipline with food to achieve that 80+% compliance for a long period of time.
Yeah, GLP-1s have changed my life. They really have. I mean, they're in all aspects, like changing my relationship with food, like the reduction of pain. I mean, that alone has been one of the biggest wins. And it's just, my entire life is different from 19 months ago. I'm so grateful for it. Let's see here. I think we have another question. Did everyone answer the last one? Okay. So this is from Tiffany. What has been your greatest accomplishment since starting your journey?
I know the answer already. May I?
Okay, we'll say it, you weirdo.
I was just trying to be polite. God, I was trying to be polite. I have my answer. It's easy. Not quitting. That's been the greatest accomplishment. Like I said multiple times tonight, I'm 21 months in. Never have I ever imagined that would be the case. And there's no thought of an endpoint besides reaching some mythical goal at this point. So like I'm not quitting. I'm not quitting on myself. I'm not quitting on the meds. I'm not quitting on the lifestyle changes. I'm going. Like I haven't been to the gym for 21 months straight ever. Like no.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not a quitter. I'm not yet a winner, but I'm not a quitter. And that counts.
Jay, you stole my answer. That was the first thing that came in my head too, because there's been many times where like I've thought about like, can we keep fitting this in the budget? What's going to happen when compounds go away? Or, I've already been off of it for a month. I'm already up 20 pounds. I may as well just throw the towel in, but I didn't. And the old me would have. The old me was like I can do it for a short period of time and then I'm giving up. It's not going to be a long-term thing. So that's definitely my answer too. It's just not quitting.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I was gonna piggyback off of that. The gym. So the gym that I go to is EOS, and they give you badges. And as a matter of fact, January made a full year, and so like to see that badge, and I was like, man, I like went to the gym consistently for a year. Never, other than when I played sports, of course, or but going to the gym. And yeah, never. So seeing that was like, man, yeah, that was rewarding. And I got on the Stairmaster because actually Sabrina's the one that was, I saw her. She was like, if you just do 2 minutes. And I was like, 2 minutes? Now I'm up to 10 minutes.
Okay,
So,
look at you.
yeah, I know.
That 10 minutes is like an hour. I don't care what nobody says.
Right, but no, Sabrina, when I saw how many flights you did one day, I was like, no. I'm dying at the 10-minute mark. I'm like, touch the button, touch the button.
Nothing breaks a sweat like the Stairmaster, though.
Okay, so the Stairmaster for me, we have a love-hate relationship, right? Like, because it defeats me every single time. But the crazy in me is like, I can't wait to go back and try again. But that was before, like, I don't know. I messed up my knee real bad. And I'm going to try to get back on the Stairmaster again. But I've got to get a good brace for my right knee. But I'm doing it. I am going to get back on it.
I see it and I'm like, the devil.
Yeah. No, I walk past it and I'm like,
That's the one thing at the gym where I don't care how crazy I look when I'm doing it. Because I will be draped across those rails talking about one more step.
Hold on to the Stairmaster. No,
I'm here. I'm like, I'm going to meet my goal of time. I'm going to do it.
Whatever it looks like. Hold on, but real quick about this. I mean, like a year ago, I made a video on this for people who are nervous about going to the gym because they don't know how the machines work, or I don't know how to adjust the machine or what I'm supposed to do on the machine. Get on a Stairmaster. It is the highest point of the gym. You have a clear view of every machine. Look at how someone's using that machine. If you're nervous about trying that machine, that's a big fear for people. Is I don't want to go to a gym because I don't know how to use it, and people are going to look at me, and I don't want to feel dumb, right? So if you're nervous about one of the weight machines, get on the Stairmaster, even if it's for a minute or two, and look at how people are using those machines. And that
you only have a minute or two before the Stairmaster starts whipping your tail. So yeah, you have a minute or two to look around peacefully.
Yeah, seriously. But yeah, I do. I love it, and I want to get back to it. But we'll see. One of the greatest accomplishments since starting the journey for me has been, I'm just going to say it. I finally like myself. I finally like myself. I didn't before. And it, hold on a second. I think we may have lost Coach, but we got him back. I don't know how to drop. Oh, there we are. Okay, we got it. Yeah, so it took 43 years, but I like myself. I've realized that I like who I am. And I think that I didn't know that I needed therapy. I didn't know that I needed all this mental health and all this healing until I started this. I was unaware, I guess. And starting this journey has really opened up a lot of emotions that I was consuming with food prior. And that like opened up my eyes. Oh, well, maybe you need to get these issues addressed. And so starting therapy and all of that has really changed my mindset and has helped me tremendously. So I like myself. That's my biggest accomplishment.
I love that for you.
Thank you.
Well, if I can piggyback off that, I feel like this has kind of unlocked or opened my eyes to the potential I can actually achieve. And on the mental health side of things, like if I could go back and show you all my story of where I was whenever all this started, but I mean, my marriage was in shambles. Like my life was an absolute ruin. Like I was desperate on every level imaginable for restoration. And that led me to God. And then that led me to counseling. And then it was like 6 months of being in a program called Regeneration, which is a 12-step disciple program. Shout out to them, Lake Point Church. Y'all are amazing. Literally saved my life. And saved my marriage, and then it saved me. Mm-hmm. And it took 6 months of intense counseling. I was going twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week in my recovery program. It's recovery for life. I wasn't have like an addiction per se, but like, you know, life happens, right? It gets ugly. And 6 months in, I was like, I finally was able to look in the mirror and I was like, all right, I'm ready to take you on. And from the physical side of things. And then that's whenever I was, my solution was going to be gastric sleeve. And then my doctor was like, hey, I've got this Mounjaro thing, like try that first. But I mean, I went from being on, GERD medicine and having sleep apnea and anti-anxiety and antidepressant meds to being off of all of it. And the freedom from food and all the things that, was wrong up here have been more or less addressed. I would say I'm like 85% of the way there because I'm still kind of mean to myself sometimes, talking about that negative self-talk. Mm-hmm. But, the greatest accomplishment was like loving myself again and honoring who I'm supposed to be for myself, for my family, for God, for my kids. Like, kind of my big moment was, I'll never forget this, was whenever I realized that my wife was making excuses to my daughter. She was about 5 at the time, of why I couldn't play with her because I was so miserably out of shape that I couldn't get down on the floor with her. I couldn't play horse. I couldn't do all the things. And I was like, I'm missing everything because I am so unhealthy. And that was that moment of like, I'm here for radical change. I've already done it for like my heart and my mind. Now it's time to get after my body. Was realizing how much I was missing of that very fleeting time with my toddler. Maybe she was about 4. I can't remember at this point, but man, like that was a wake up call for me. And being able to lose the weight and be successful, and the confidence that unlocked and my ability to work and provide for my family. Like I doubled my income in a year and a half. Like I mean, just it unlocked so much stuff. In the amount of health, and I don't shy away from the work not only in the gym, but in the kitchen, and then at actual work, and just all, and in the gym, like everything, like it unlocked, like if I feel like it unlocked a superpower in my life, like it just the mental fortitude that it gave me, for me to be able to see that success, and that started with addressing like what was broken in my heart and in my mind, but then the long term like physical success would not, I don't believe, have been possible without a GLP-1 medication, because I had done everything else before. Everything. Like you name it, I've done it, except for shake weights. I don't believe in those. So I make jokes and I get uncomfortable, but yeah, so that's kind of where I was at. My biggest accomplishment is just figuring out who I actually am, and being able to fall in love with that person.
I love that.
Can I just say that that's an amazing person who you are? So lucky us to be able to witness that.
Thank you, Jay.
Yeah. Everybody?
I think, I mean, I have a lot of accomplishments, but honestly, one of the biggest ones was the day I started, because I have severe pharmaceutical anxiety. Like taking medications is really scary for me. And so just starting my journey and going that route was tremendous. And I had no idea how it was going to change my life for the better. So I really feel like just starting that day one and doing the injection and getting the courage to do that, and then work through, and then it was great because I didn't have any negative side effects. Hooray. So,
what do you mean? We're all like so sick from this, like what everyone says.
And we're all going blind, right?
Yeah, and there's people who have zero side effects, right?
All right, the fearless leader over there.
I always say that Jay is blessed and highly favored.
And
He's God's favorite.
God's favorite, right?
I will say I got a bone to pick with all of y'all though, because I'll never forget when I first started. I did really struggle with constipation, and someone in my comments directed me to Mag07, and that was a mean, dirty trick. Because when you talk about Montezuma's revenge, dude, like I thought I got pranked. But I found out later, like the serving size, it says on the bottle 5, and it was supposed to be like I was really supposed to start with like 2, but I just said YOLO. Oh my lord!
Oh, you just threw it to the wind.
Hold on,
you started with 5?
Wait, 5?
Yeah, because the bottle that I bought, it was like a digestive cleanse, so it said the starting serving size was 5. So I was like, okay, well, I can read.
Right. See, that's the problem I had too. When I first started, people were like, oh, don't take Meg citrate. That's what my doctor told me to take and what I should have listened to. And they said, do the Mag07, it works better. And I just get it, and the bottle says however many you're supposed to take, but that's supposed to be a cleanse. I woke up sick in the middle of the night. I was like, you dirty rotten, you know what? It's like
works as advertised.
Yeah, that was not a fun moment, but
I mean, but the plus side is you're no longer constipated, right?
No doubt, but I am dehydrated.
You shall receive. Okay, you got what for? What else do you want?
Oh, that's too funny, you guys. It's awesome. It's yeah, Mag07 for me in the beginning was key. It was key. Nope, I've never ever taken 5.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't recommend.
But so let's see here. I don't think we have time for another question. But, do you guys want to do closing thoughts now? Let's do closing thoughts. Lauren, start us off.
I actually heard a quote this week that I wanted to share with you guys that makes me think of this community. So many of us have like similar struggles, similar traumas, similar wounds. And whereas like a lot of people come to social media to show their highlight reel, we all are coming to social media and like bearing our souls. And the quote that I heard this week was about healing specifically, and it was from Rumi, and it said, the wound is the place where the light enters you. And that just
Mm.
made me think so much about us and how we all bear these wounds, but then we get filled up, by sharing this message that we share with other people so that they can learn that it's not their fault and that there's options. And just by sharing with each other and supporting each other, I feel like that really helps, let the light in. So
I'm obsessed with that.
isn't it beautiful?
It just hit me like a ton of bricks.
Yeah, I just happened to see that the other day, and it made me think of this community and all the things that we have here. So
because that resonates with me, because a gaping wound in my heart, like in me as a person is, and you guys have been the light that has healed that wound, that has healed that wound.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Sabrina,
Thank you for having us. This has been great.
Was the wound great enough to use the term gaping? Because
yes.
I cannot with you, okay? I cannot. There's not one day that goes by that he doesn't like. Not one day goes by that I don't get something from Jay about my word choices. Gaping. What's wrong with gaping? Okay, Kendra, your closing thoughts?
That if you're thinking about starting this process, stop thinking about it. Just do it. And once you are in this process, continue to know that you are worth it, regardless of if it gets hard, if it gets easy, if it and I would have to say, also follow all these superstars on here. Jay, Tiffany, Sabrina, Aubrey. I'm sorry I don't know you, Coach Z or Lauren, but I'm pretty sure y'all are amazing. My platform is not like that. It's mostly just me and my girlfriend. But these people on here are amazing. I know they say they're not doctors and this is not medical advice, but if you're I got my medical advice from these people. So.
She didn't.
I got.
I don't know.
Don't you
I
lie
got
on us
my.
like that.
I got my water goals. I got encouragement. I got a friendship. I got people who actually care, check on you, and this community is bigger than what I think. I think these people up here know. And I appreciate it because I just feel special being here. Like, what? Mama, I made it. Like, girl.
I adore you. I think you are a doll and that your voice is important. Your voice is important.
Thank you.
And I thank you. I thank you guys so much.
And if you're a slow responder, if you want to ask me questions, my DMs are always open. Yeah, because I know how that can be.
It's rough.
Yeah, especially when you see other people and you're doing all the things of the things. I mean, all the things of the things, except for the scan that Coach Z has told me about. But I mean, all the things of the things, and it's still not happening for you. But I know that this medication is working for me, regardless of it. If it's not, like you said, a number, it is working for me. So it works if you work with it.
Yes.
Do you want me to go, Sabrina?
Yes.
Okay. So we've said a lot about how amazing this community is and how powerful the entire journey and every step of the way is. But I want to encourage people to not become overly obsessed with the journey itself and forget about all the other parts and pieces of their lives. So, cautionary tale.
Like that.
I think that's very easy to do. Because for the very first time in our lives, something is working. And it's very easy to lean into that and become consumed with that. I know for myself, I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of it. If I'm not working or I mean, I'm reading like research, or I'm watching videos, or doing panel lives, or just watching someone's life. It's very, very easy to become. It's because for the first time in my life, I feel like I have found my people. I have found my people. And I feel understood. I feel seen. But I know that balance is important. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Work in progress. um, let's go with Tiffany.
So one thing that I would say is um, to take it one day at a time
Mm-hmm.
and take some time to enjoy the moment and take it for what it is. I think sometimes we, and and I feel like sometimes we listen to Tay and sometimes we laugh at Tay and we do all these things. But one thing about Tay is that she is going to tell you to manage your expectations,
Mm-hmm.
and that's one of the most important things. And we hear it, we listen. Look, we listen and we don't judge, okay? Because we know that we are all trying to get somewhere fast. Remember how fast we jumped on when Sabrina told us tomorrow we are going to be at goal, whatever that goal looks like. How
Mm-hmm.
fast we jumped on it, and
Mm-hmm.
we immediately thought, yes, pull the lever. But we have to remember that, what does that look like for us? It's not going to look the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be the same. We are going to all be on the same road, but we are literally going at different speeds. We are all in different cars. I cannot compare myself to anyone. All right. And it's very easy to be able to do that. It's very easy to continue to look to the left, look to the right, look behind you, instead of focusing on what our journey is. Um, and so that's really it. Just to take a moment, take it all in. And if you need to regroup, if you need to slow down, do that, but don't give up.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Coach?
I'm up. All right. My pastor said something a couple weeks ago that really stuck with me, and I've been ruminating it a lot. But he said, "You can't beat a full-time devil as a part-time Christian." And thinking about that in the regards of this, like how many of us truly like the root cause of our weight gain is and was our demons. And my message to you would be to not let the enemy and don't let those demons keep you from taking the first step in pursuing the life that you want, because he would love nothing more than to keep you where you are, which is trapped and enslaved to whatever you're addicted to. And there's so much freedom to be found in taking agency for yourself, taking ownership in your part in it, and then taking the first step forward and finding freedom in this journey, and in your spiritual journey, and in your mental health journey. Like you talk so much about healing, Sabrina, and it takes you having faith to take the first step in that walk to break free from all the chains that are holding you down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on, Pastor.
Yeah. That's powerful. That is powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love that. Jay, the Buddha of the community, the light, the my go-to. My go-to.
Um, I just have a very simple message. Um, you have got to learn how to trust on this journey. You have got to learn to trust in people, places, and things that you never trusted before. You need to learn to trust your body. You need to learn to trust the science. You need to learn to trust the people in your life to protect you. You need to learn to trust. Trust yourself above all. Because if you don't trust yourself, you are not going to make it to whatever the goal looks like. And I'm not talking about a number, because we've discussed already tonight that a number is not what the true goal is.
Mhm.
No.
So
Mhm.
you've got to learn to trust on this journey.
Mhm.
Well, my closing thoughts are a little bit of what everyone has said. This is not a quick fix. This is something where you're going to need to learn to trust yourself, trust the medicine, trust the process. And I'm going to ask you to find your patience and be kind to yourself. Show yourself grace. And I said this in the first one, you can't hate yourself healthy.
Amen.
You can't hate yourself healthy. So do it with love. And do it with grace. And I love you guys. And I thank you. You guys have been amazing. And my cup is full. Like, this stuff fills my cup. You guys sharing your voice it's such a powerful thing. Right? There's so many people in our community who don't know. They're looking. Think about where you were before this journey. Something like this would have changed everything for me. It would have been this eye-opening experience. So you doing this, you sharing your voice with this community, I cannot thank you enough. I will forever be indebted to you. And I truly, truly honor and respect you guys for doing it.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you to Dave, naturally. Dave is so kind to allow us to bring what we do to this platform. I appreciate it. I appreciate everyone who came into the chat. Thank you guys so much for hanging with us and giving us your thoughts and experiences. It's always such a fulfilling experience for me, and I hope others. So if anybody's interested in being on the panel, please fill out the form on the website, and I hope to see you guys again not next Friday, but the following. So, I love and respect everyone. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, Sabrina. Thanks, everybody. It's nice to meet all of you.
Have a great night. Bye, y'all.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.